on now. It falls off fast. Now, to show you how quickly 18 days goes by, you know what 18 days ago was, Drew? We were at
middle of July?
We were at Memphis Paints. That was that Friday. That was like 10 minutes ago, wasn't it?
It felt like it.
Like 10 minutes ago. It'll go that fast to the countdown of that first days of college football. That first day, those two games, Hawaii and Arizona also that day. But the big one to kick off the 150th year of college football will be the U versus the Gators, University of Florida versus Miami. Miami's gotten so bad, we're back to designating them as Miami of Florida again, aren't we? Kind of like Miami of Ohio.
I don't think it's gotten that bad to where you have to be that specific about it, but
what a
it's
history the U has, and they did it in a pretty tight college football historical window. Kind of started with that 83 national championship team with Bernie Kosar, and then into a couple of different dynasties. The Howard Snellenberger handed it off to Jimmy Johnson, who handed it off to Dennis Erickson, had a little trouble, and then Larry Coker had that team in 2001 that may have been the best college football team ever. It was so good, Jeremy Shockey had to turn pro to get playing time at tight end because Kellen Winslow was that good. They were loaded. They had players just everywhere and every single position. Quarterback, all through those years, always very good. Running backs, linemen, linebackers, everything. But they've fallen way off. And Manny Diaz trying to get it back again and trying to get it back now in the ACC. A lot of those years of the dynasty building, they were an independent. They were out there looking for a league to get in, got in the Big East and dominated it, and then to the ACC. But college football right around the corner. I called it on the Cardinals last night, didn't I?
You did. You hit it right on the head.
I said it would be ugly, and it was early. That ball still going that was launched by Bellinger in the first. Michael Waka is not a fifth starter. He's not a fourth starter. He's not a big league starter. And the shame for Cardinal fans is that at this point, people thought a few years ago this would be the point where Michael Walker, Carlos Martinez, they'd be the aces of the staff. That would be your 1-2, 2-1 guys, and it's not. The Dodgers put it on them. Now, also, last night, if you thought the pitching by Walker was bad, the hitting by the Cardinals were bad. A two-hitter against a complete nobody. The worst starter the Dodgers that they have. And now, to make matters even worse, after a light-hitting night last night, you get Clayton Kershaw tonight. I was scared against the Cardinals, against the better teams, and those worst fears have been shown to be true against these better teams. The schedule will lighten up, but by that point, you could drift too far back and maybe not be in it. Or the Mets in it. Doubleheader sweep yesterday, day-night doubleheader sweep yesterday. Hottest team since the All-Star break, 17-6. That pitching fortified at the deadline with Marcus Stroman. They run a lot of pitching out there. If they could catch it and hit it a little bit, they could be around to challenge for one of those two wild cards.
I think they got a chance. They've got to keep the streak going. Now, if they start to lose a series here and there, it could be a little tough.
Tipping point.
But you traditionally go win 2 out of 1 the rest of the way. I think they're in.
Yeah, 2-1, 2 out of 3 in every series. Yeah, that's all you want is the rest of the way is just win series for everybody. And maybe the occasional 4-gamer, just a split of that would be fine. There's some afternoon baseball. The White Sox lead Detroit 4-2, top of the 9th. But most of the baseball, the good stuff tonight, and the Cardinals late tonight against the Dodgers. Only trip out to Dodger Stadium, to Chavez Ravine. You only go once now. Cardinals swept the Dodgers in the series back in April in St. Louis. A lot different Dodger team now and a lot different Cardinals team now. We start our Tuesday afternoon visits today at 3:30, now through the end of the Tiger football season with Gabe Kuhn. Looking forward to that. Visiting with him at 4 o'clock. We'll talk college football nationally, a lot of SEC and ACC with Brent Beard. At 4:30, are you working on them or do you have them completed?
I'm still working. I know you said it's not lightly shaded pencil season.
No, that season's over.
But I'm still in lightly shaded pencil. I got to get it lightly shaded first, and then regular pencil.
It's ballpoint pen season. It's time. Top 10 college football games of 2019. And some of them on my list come really early. because the domino effect. We know what one loss does to you in college football. It puts you where you can't lose another one. And two, you're
in no man's land. You're completely out of it.
I think maybe now more than ever, because there's so many good one-loss teams that I don't think the public would accept like LSU in 2007. I don't know if the public would accept that now. I don't know if the playoff committee would do that because they're so big on the eye test. Well, the eye test and the result test and the scoreboard test means you lost twice. I don't think that would hold up.
I don't think they will either, especially now since we see that the Pac-12 has been left out a couple of times, the Big Ten's been left out. The fact that you do have 5 power conferences and only 4 spots, and we've seen where –
and Bill Hancock said that at SEC Media Days. He said to us, look, everybody signed up for this and knew there were only 4 spots for 5 leagues.
Yeah, and we could even see, again, possibly 2 spots taken from the SEC, or, if Big Ten might catch lightning in the bottle, Ohio State, Michigan, somehow both get into the playoff if, according to the eye test and just pure talent, and you think that they're one of the 4 best teams even without winning the conference, then they're one of the 4 best teams. And, winning your conference still matters, but I guess it doesn't have as much weight on it as it used to because
it hadn't mattered for Penn State, did it?
No. And it hasn't mattered for anybody out of the Pac-12 just because the conference itself looks terrible.
Yeah, what did it get Washington last year?
Nothing.
We got them in the Rose Bowl.
They're guaranteed to get that, though. It's not like it got them anything extra.
And that's a lot to them. That's a lot to Big Ten, Pac-12 loyalists and partisans. And I know why now. Why that I had a Big Ten person try to tell me early 90s that going to the Rose Bowl game was more important than playing for the national championship game. And I said, come on, you've convinced yourself of that. With one trip to it, just one, I know, I can kind of see why, especially from the Big Ten persuasion, and this person was more so than Pac-12. Look, I'm not stereotyping anything. I'm just talking about these climates. When you're in Bloomington, Indiana, when you're in Minneapolis, St. Paul, when you're in Evanston, Illinois, when you're in Champaign, Urbana, when you're in West Lafayette, when you're in State College, for those fans, if it's just the 3 or 4 day outing, to go out there to perfect weather, that stadium, that sunshine, that setting, and I'll never forget, in 95 was when Northwestern broke that long streak of not, I think it was like since 40, sometimes in the 40s that they had been last. And there was a sign in the stands that day against USC, and the sign simply said, so this is what Pasadena looks like. And I can really understand that now. To them, it is still nirvana, and especially from, you leave those climates at that time, you leave any of those places on the 27th of December, and you fly wherever to Chicago, O'Hare to LAX, and you land out there and you get that for 4 or 5 days, and never mind if you're the team and if you're the official party and you're out there 10 days to 2 weeks. They've limited it. In fact, the first year Penn State that they were in the Big Ten, they won the Big Ten and they went out there. And I'm going to say Paterno went out there about December 5th, took everybody. Socks, jocks, blocking sleds, everything. Anything in the Penn State building, they went. He said, we're in the Big Ten. We're going to Nirvana. I can see that response from them. I really can.
Yeah, when you bring in the whole climate thing, I mean, who really wants to be in the state of Michigan or Ohio?
Or Memphis, for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, when it's that cold. I mean, like I loved. It wasn't the biggest bowl that I've been to, but I loved going to Boca just because I got to get a tan in the middle of December.
Sure.
I mean, it was great. I wore shorts. It's like literally the middle of December, so I can understand that factor of it. But I understand the history that surrounds the Rose Bowl. I understand the tradition, the passion from both conferences. But saying that it means more than a national championship is saying a little much.
Even back then when it was said to me in the mid-90s, mid to late 90s?
Yeah, I still think. Because, I mean, national championship is a national championship.
Yeah, that's and it's very easy to say when you don't have one and you hadn't won it. If you've won it, then that means a lot to you.
Yeah, it does.
And that's one of the great things we can do in sports. We can rationalize just about anything, can't we? We can make that loss feel not so bad, and we can make that win feel like, the coffee table big book.
I mean, just from not as an extreme example, but I mean, when 2 years ago when you lose that heartbreaking double overtime loss to Central Florida, hey, we get to play in our own bowl game. Like that is still really cool. Like I don't have to go out of town. I get to play in one of the best bowls in the country.
It was softened, didn't I?
Yes, I might not be in the new quote unquote New Year's Six, but I'm still in a great bowl. I'm right here in town, and it was worth it. It was nice,
except for at one darn point.
Yeah,
and that would have made it perfect. It really would have. And it was really good. Speaking of the Autos on Liberty Bowl, after we visit with Bo Marchant today on the NFL at 5:30, we start our Tuesday's visits with Steve Earhart, the executive director of the Autos on Liberty Bowl. He will be with us on Tuesday afternoons to talk about that game and the college football scene that he is very, very plugged in on. Autos on Liberty Bowl number 61 coming up. Tickets are already for sale. You can buy 50-yard line tickets right now. You just got to bet that your team's going to be there. Ole Miss fans, you want to make that bet right now? Arkansas fans, Tennessee fans. How about that? That's a pretty good pool to deal from. I think Mississippi State will play above the Autos on Liberty Bowl slightly this year. Slightly. They could be in that game, though, if it were a 7-5, 8-4 type season for Mississippi State. But really, the partnership with the SEC, it has worked for the Autos on Liberty Bowl. I did like the Tigers in that game. I don't know that there's that opportunity that often. I don't know if you want to do it too often.
No, you don't want to do it too often, and just the fact of...
Because you are there 6 Saturdays a year.
Yeah, and some years 7.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it just happened to... Everything seemed to have fallen into the right places. Not enough SEC teams being bowl eligible. Tigers right here having a historic season. Like, everything just seemed to fall in place for it. Like, it didn't seem forced. Now, if it ever becomes forced, then you might not want to do it.
That is the point. It was not. That is a really good point, Drew. It was not forced. It was very organic. It felt magical. And if it was too rat-a-tat-tat, if it was too often, I don't know I don't know the number of years. I don't know if it's 2 and 5 or 3 and 7 or what, the number of repeat appearances, but you'll kind of know it when you know it. And maybe this year is already too soon. Last year definitely was. I mean, you didn't want to go back to back.
No, you don't want to go back to back.
Really, neither party did, to be honest.
No, and I mean, any bowl.
And you understand it.
Out there doesn't want the same people in the bowl. They want new, fresh fans rolling in and wanting to come back.
The Rose Bowl doesn't want back to back. They sure don't. I do regret that I couldn't go, because that was the year I'd long planned to go to the Rose Bowl, and I missed the Autos on Liberty Bowl that year. And it was still really nasty of me to text you that morning, because that was Liberty Bowl weather that day for the Iowa State game.
It was pretty cold. Iowa State brought the weather with it.
They thought it was warm. They
really did.
They always love Memphis. They don't know it's cold.
And I'm not gonna.
Love their fans.
They thought that they might have well been sitting on a beach in Miami. I mean, people. Some of them had jackets on. One guy just had the overalls on, and they were like, "Man, this is perfectly fine." I was like, "What do you mean? It's 26 degrees out?" And he's like, "Yeah, back home it's -6. I think I'm okay."
But it was nasty of me to send you that picture from the swimming pool.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty bad
in Beverly Hills, wasn't it?
It was, and especially since I forgot my gloves that day, so my hands were just freezing. I couldn't even text you back.
Yeah, well, I later got a response back, but it wasn't immediate from me. We're in our Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together, celebrating the end of summer with the end of summer liquidation sale. Pools as low as $19.99, patio furniture starting at $12.99. Swim spas begin at $9.99. There's still enough summer left to enjoy great deals during the end of summer liquidation sale at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. And you're talking about how fast times go by. And I mentioned, how quickly 18 days went by. We'll be at Family Leisure's for toys for tots at Christmas time before you know it. Before you know it, football season will be over.
Can't go that fast.
All these predictions we know so much about, they'll all be shot by then.
Well, we're not going to know what we're talking about by week 2.
No.
I mean, literally the Monday after Labor Day, we're going to be in here going, I didn't know anything.
Mulligan Monday, the week before I'm not going to say you, I'm going to say I'm going to say Brett. I know so much. And on Mulligan Monday, Labor Day, boy, I just don't think they're that good at all. But the week before I did, and that's true of all of us. And it's kind of funny at SEC Media Days. I don't know if people parading around with expert status, but there are a lot of hot takes and hard and true predictions, and a lot of times that they come undone. In the SEC, it feels a little easy to pick, like Barrett Jones was talking about yesterday. It feels like we know it that Bama and Clemson feel like on a collision course, but before that, Bama and Georgia, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's almost set in stone at this point. It's kind of Alabama, Clemson meeting in the national championship is starting to feel like having Golden State in the NBA Finals. And eventually, just like Golden State, it will get broken up. Things will change. Cycles will come around. But right now, we're still in the middle of this Alabama-Clemson cycle.
And that injury can occur. That injury can occur in these championship games or early in one of those semifinal games. Even in victory, you have somebody that could get hurt. It sure can happen. This hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the golden opportunity sales event. Great offers on all 2019 models and always on special lease options. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look great in a Lexus too. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500, and you will be looking and driving in style. Lexus of Memphis, the highest standards in the industry. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis. Top story of the daytime. You're hitting the machine and it is not playing. We'll try it one more time. Here we go.
Top story of the day.
I knew when we asked Nice it would do it. It has that amazing ability about it. And that was a perfect time for me to get a drink as I'm about to choke to death. Hang on.
Well, now I can't get the other thing.
Now the music won't come up. My top story is Ezekiel Elliott says no contract, no play. Kind of the old Gary Templeton. If I ain't starting, I ain't departing. He says he will hold out for the entire season, but unlike Le'Veon Bell last year, Ezekiel Elliott's contract's very different. He hadn't been franchised, and he's got 2 years. Is he really going to hold out for 2 years and just burn all that money? And who knows in that time, I don't know that he will. I hope he doesn't. What if he had an incident off the field? Sometimes it has followed him.
Yeah, it's not like he hasn't gotten in trouble up to this point. I mean, it's followed him from Ohio State.
So he sets fire to that cash, has something go wrong, scares everybody off of him. That's the risk he's taking. Jerry Jones and the Cowboys can already go back and take back cash from last year in the bonus. They're within their legal rights to take money from him. Also, a very heavy fine schedule is looming. Does either side really want that?
If I'm Zeke, I'm getting back to practice. I'm not risking the $40,000 fine a day and then on top of that, the extra $226,000 for missing the first preseason game. Because, one, you're not making money right now. You don't want to lose money on top of it. And then also be sitting in Mexico? Come on, man. You need to be posted up at your mom's house or someplace where you ain't spending a dime. If you're really serious about this, you ain't hiding out in Mexico.
And that first game check comes and goes. That's real money that you just don't ever get back. Le'Veon Bell.
He had more money saved up. He's made more money, and he seemed to be more responsible with it.
If you'll remember on Friday when we were talking the business of sports with Rick Harrow, I said 100% I guarantee you he'll be in camp. He said, I bet you said that last year about Le'Veon Bell. And I did, and I was wrong. But a lot of different moving parts in this deal. I just don't think he can afford to do it. And not just monetarily. Again, the risk factor of a misstep off the field and you scare off some teams. Now, unless it's something, really, really serious or he physically is injured, those other teams aren't going to be that scared off of him.
No, they won't, but
Because he can still tote that football.
He can, and I hate to see this happening, especially if there is a player's owner. It's Jerry Jones. And Jerry Jones has come out and saying, hey, I'm going to pay you. You're going to get what you're worth. You just got to work with
Good
me.
point,
I
Drew.
got
Jerry
some
Jones,
other things doing.
He loves his guys.
He is a player's owner if there is one.
He loves his men. That's what he calls them. My men.
He's going to pay him, and he's told him, I'm going to pay you. Just let me do these other things that I have to do first and wait. I would love to pay you right now. It's just there's no room in the cap space. There's a set cap. I can't go over.
Dak's going to get a lot of it.
And Dak deserves to get a lot of it.
And that's the market. And that is the market. Not top story.
Not top story of the day.
Boy, announcer man really was deep and guttural there, wasn't it? Did you do something to that? Did you
I
crank
didn't.
him
Maybe
up?
my computer's messed it up. It's not liking one of us right now.
Man,
It's getting angry with me.
It's like he knew Westwood won, angry guy. Did you catch that? Give that to me again. Can you? Can you re-rack it?
Not top story of the day.
Man, he's bringing it. Team USA roster for World Cup in China in basketball. It's set. Many passed on playing. It's the weakest roster the United States has sent out for an international basketball event, really since the NBA players took over USA basketball. Mason Plumlee's on the roster. Okay? And a whole bunch of Celtics and a couple of them that are just good. They'll still win easily, won't they?
Oh, without a doubt.
They'll blast everybody, won't they?
Yeah, they will. They could probably do it with one arm tied behind their back. They'll be fine.
Congratulations to Thaddeus Young from Mitchell High School here in Memphis and Georgia Tech. He will be on that roster as well. He could be on the roster next year at 2020 at Tokyo.
Yeah, he could be on the Olympic
More
team.
Tokyo talk. Man, we can't get away from it, can we?
We can't. We're going to be the leading Olympic coveragers in not only the Memphis area, but I'd say in the country.
We're all over it. And yesterday you brought up the Pedro Martinez quote about swine flu at the 2009 World Series. Did you hear about him now about the baseball? It's not just simple drag coefficient with the baseball this year. He says the ball's smaller.
Smaller, really?
Smaller
How have we not
baseball.
seen? How's nobody
He says-
said anything like that?
he
I mean,
says we're-
Verlander's been the most outspoken person, and he has the ball in his hand every day. How has he not noticed the ball being smaller?
Pedro says where he signs the sweet spot on the baseball for autographs, that he's got less room now. That's as technical as anything else, isn't it?
I mean, it's the same, yeah. I mean, smaller ball, smaller weight.
Wasn't he the best righty for a lot of years?
Phenomenal.
Just
The
lights
best guy.
out. I mean, you could ring it up. He was going to go out and it was going to be 7 1/3, 8 innings every night, lights out stuff. He was so good, and right there, very primary to the Red Sox turning around their curse. I didn't think the Red Sox all those years were as much cursed as the Cubs seemed to be. The biggest thing the Red Sox had to do is get past the Yankees all those years. Just think if there had been a wild card spot for them through the years. A lot of times, they had a really good team that if you didn't win that East, you weren't going anywhere. And before that, if you didn't win the American League, you weren't going anywhere. But Pedro was right there. But he says no drag coefficient for him, just the ball smaller. Does that make any sense?
I mean, it makes as much sense as everything else about the ball being juiced.
Boy, it's flying out of places.
It really is.
Light hitting second baseman. Right-handed batters hitting it out the right field line. There's no way they can.
I saw somebody, I was watching just highlights yesterday, and a guy literally fell while he was hitting the ball and hit it 20 rows into the stands in center field.
Fell while hitting it, and you could tell was aggravating, kind of hit the bat down at the ground like, I missed it, and it still goes out.
It went out, not just right down the line, like left center, and went 20 rows up.
Yeah,
like,
way
there's
gone.
something going on.
Yeah, there's something going on. There might be something going on with the air. You think it could be that?
No, it's the baseball.
Where's Dave? I mean, is Dave coming back?
He'll be back
You're calling it
Thursday. I'm going to say Thursday.
Golf picks tomorrow. Austin Eldridge in tomorrow. Do we sabotage?
Of course we're going to sabotage.
We have to weigh that. When we come back, we talk Tigers football. We do it with our very own member of our team right here at WHBQ. We do it with Gabe Kuhn, the former Tiger. He's next. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
This is what Flo from Progressive sounds like in one of our many hilarious commercials.
Hi, did you know that you can get a quote on your motorcycle insurance in under 3 minutes at Progressive.com? And did you know that saying hi makes even bad news sound good? Hi, you have high cholesterol. Hi, you're fired.
And this is what that same commercial sounds like on your motorcycle.
Hi, there's no more cake.
Yeah, even our commercials sound better on a bike. And with basic policy starting at $75 a year, Progressive helps keep you on yours. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Have you ever noticed your air conditioning system never breaks down at a good time? We know at Conway Services the timing's not always right to replace your air conditioning systems. That's why we have financing options available. Right now, during the dog days of summer, get your new Carrier air conditioning system for as low as $99 per month. That's right, Conway Services has new Carrier air conditioning systems as low as $99 per month. Now, you could do that. Plus, your new air conditioning system comes with a 10-year parts warranty, a free Nest thermostat, and you know with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511, and the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Spring means golf, and at the Memphis Public Links, that means better play every day. All 117 holes and all kinds of opportunities this year. All junior golfers 17 and under. Your green fees? Well, they're free. Oh, that's all the courses except Galloway, Monday through Friday after 12 on weekends and holidays. There's free junior golf clinics almost every day. The Links at Whitehaven, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4:30 to 6:30. The Links at Pine Hill, Thursday, 4:30 to 6:30. That's free junior golf clinics. There's family golf at Galloway, Saturday afternoons after 12. Adults pay only $25 for 18 holes. That includes the cart. Juniors 17 and under are free, but you must have one junior in your group. And then there's women's golf at the Links at Overton. Wednesdays at 3:30. It's $15 for a clinic, $20 for 9 holes. The cart fee and 2 beverages are included. Memphis Public Golf is back in a big way with better play every day.
Stop. Pick up your golf clubs. Head to my favorite place, Vantage Point Golf Center, 9580 Macon Road in Cordova. Open 7 days a week. Vantage Point Golf Center. They got it all. Top tracer powered by Top Golf. Track your shots like the pros. You know exactly where you hit the ball. Have a beer, eat a sandwich, and relax. Over 50 grass spots and fully lit for nighttime. There are 18 holes of mini golf. It's fun for the whole family. Visit Vantage Point Golf Center. They've got it all. 1 mile west of Houston Levee.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochin and Brett Norsworthy.
We welcome you back, Dave. We'll be back on Thursday, and we look forward to it. On Tuesdays at this time, all the way through the Tiger football season. We know that'll be through a great ball game, sometimes in January maybe. Gabe Kuhn's going to be with us every week at 3:30 talking Tiger football. You hear Gabe right now as the Swiss Army knife of this radio station. He can do so many things, do them so very well, and we are glad to have him with us on Tuesday afternoons. Gabe Kuhn, I want to talk. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. And away we go. Away we go. I'm doing great, Gabe, and you know how I feel about you here, and you know how I felt about you as a player. And Gabe, you got a very unique perspective about it because you saw it. You saw the total rebuild to where this program is now so very respected, and you saw it under both coaches, recruited by one, finished your playing days for another.
Yep, and I see it's weird because I see some sort of animosity at times toward, Justin Fuente. Some people sort of think he was on the way out before he was actually gone. But, I mean, I was blessed enough to have some good coaches and obviously some really good players. I think right now there's 14 NFL guys on rosters right now. Like, that's got to be up there with, the history of Memphis football. And it just sort of shows where we're at, where we've been at as a program.
Yeah, and you were there at the Revolution. You were there laying the cornerstone. And today, Gabe, I mean, it's just – and for me living here all my life, I always thought and I always defended the Tiger football history as being more than some of the critics the further you got away from here had. But the fair criticism was consistency, not only coach over coach, but year over year. And today – you're in good company when you do this. Today, don't ask me why, but I'm going through the Oklahoma Media Guide, and on page 31 of the Oklahoma Sooners Media Guide, and I mean every page you flip in that thing is just like a walking, talking, living history of college football. I get to this nugget. Over the last 4 years, here are the teams that have scored the most touchdowns in college football the last 4 years. Well, Oklahoma's one. That's why it's in their media guide, 322. Second, Clemson, 301. Third, Alabama, 209. Fourth, Memphis Tigers, 286 touchdowns.
And one of the thing I found most impressive, and you look at last year, just how much they ran the ball. You don't think of a group of 5 O-line being so dominant. But when you have 2 running backs who are over 1,001 that should have reached 2,000 had he played the bowl game, I mean, I just think that's absolutely crazy because especially, I hadn't seen anything like that. I don't think there was a 1,000-yard rusher for that team since D'Angelo had left.
Yeah.
And Darryl got in there. So
and to have 2 and have one of those back this year, and one that we'll be watching and cheering hard for on Sundays or in the NFL in Darrell Henderson, but a great back this year. You played offensive line. How many career starts for you, Gabe?
51. One off the record.
51 times in the lineup card, and you go out there taped up and stitched together a lot of weeks.
Tape my joints together at sometimes. When you have medical issues, they don't let you sit those out. So
no.
As a whole lineman, you're out there, and you're out there till the game's over. You don't get any breathers or anything like that.
Yeah, we were talking yesterday with Barrett Jones, and you offensive linemen, y'all are a fraternity in and of yourself because we were talking about quarterbacks and the protective jerseys, and he said he had never one time ever saw a quarterback kind of be live in a practice. I know you haven't either. The linemen, you guys even hit pregame on game day. Y'all are going at it.
Oh, we have to. I actually found this funny. You said you've never seen a quarterback without one of those jerseys on. I remember, it's those younger guys without the jersey sometimes, so they learn how to take some hits.
Yeah, younger guys, though.
Yeah, definitely.
But not that starter.
Yeah, but as O-linemen, the amount of hitting, and I saw them out there with those they have like these concussion sort of tops they put on their helmets now. I wish I would have had, probably would have helped.
Mm-hmm. What did you know about Memphis and the Memphis Tigers program before you finally came here, probably Memorial Weekend, and enrolled the summer before your freshman year?
I knew of basketball. I knew they lost the national championship. I knew, just to be honest with you, I knew nothing about the program. I knew Don Terry Poe had gotten drafted, I believe, a year prior. But besides that, I knew how bad they were. I knew how sort of tragic the years before that had been, with 1-11, 2-10 seasons, 3-9, 4-8. There was just nothing going on at the time. But when I sort of saw what Justin Fuente had going here, and I saw what TCU had sort of the blueprint for, I just sort of knew it was headed in the right direction. And in that first year, I remember there was a turning point for me because there was just so many close games.
And that was the fall of what?
That would be 2013.
Okay.
2013.
Yeah, I know the game you're going to reference, Arkansas State.
Yep, and that was finally a win. And then after that, there was just so many conference games that were close, but never quite got over that hump. And then eventually that next year, we got over the hump on a lot of those games.
And where were you during the Donnybrook with BYU?
Oh, I had played 102 snaps that game. I was tired. I was over doing the opposite of fighting. I was saying good game to the D lineman I had gone against the whole game, and I turned around, and that was something.
It was on, wasn't it?
It really was.
Yeah, and Drew makes the point in 2013, in the shoulda, coulda, would like, a fresh 5 minutes, should have defeated Blake Bortles and UCF in that 2013 season.
Oh, my God. I mean, they fumbled the kick return. I remember Marquise Warford fumbled the kick return, and that's what turned the game the opposite direction. And, I mean, that was Rashad Perriman, all those good guys over at UCF. I knew that the talent was there, but it's getting the right. People sort of talk about culture all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something that people don't get until you actually see it firsthand. And seeing the turnover from that year to 2014 was actually insane. I mean, the amount of guys, getting in trouble the year before that, and then by the time we got to 2014, it just seemed like everybody had bought in.
And in a way, the Tigers were on the way and off to that. During the BYU fracas, I've always said about any sports fight, especially more toward the end or after the game, whoever wins the game wins the fight. That day, There was no doubt who won the fight. Man, BYU dude went down like a ton of bricks.
And usually when you get into little brawls like that, it's usually shoving matches.
Hold me back.
This was not a shoving match, hold me back type of thing. There were some good, solid shots landed.
Oh man, right to the chops and BYU, they're very known for during the game. Did you think they were giving a little something, maybe a little dirty?
I will be. I mean, I was warned of this before we went into that game. I have yet to play a dirtier football program. Just to be, and I'm not,
It's true.
I don't want to.
I saw it in 2011 against Ole Miss.
Yeah, I think they have a good program. They win some games, but they are dirty. I don't know what it is about them, but they seem to play with an edge at all times.
Gabe Coon's our guest. We will talk college football. We'll talk the Tigers with him each and every Tuesday at this time. Right now, what's the mindset in the building around the team? School's not started. I mean, it's just all football and the fellas right now, isn't it?
Yeah, grind time. And I'd venture to say, there's a lot of people that like football, but I don't know all those football players. I don't know a lot that love and just can't wait for fall camp. So it's a grind right now. Those guys, obviously it's the first couple days they're in pads. I bet they're, very excited. I went out there for the first day and they were moving around really fast. Saw some new guys like Travion Samuel. He's a transfer from Troy and Louisville, who seemed to do decent at Louisville. Caught for about a couple 300-yard seasons, but he looked good out there. It looked like the quarterbacks were sort of on their game as well.
How much you think will be on Brady White? Statistically, great year last year, but in the court of public perception, which I'm not that wild about that. I like looking at the results, and the results were pretty good. There was still some questioning him after last year. Where do you think he is as a leader and what he wants to do for this 2019 team?
And certainly, Brad, I've been one of the outspoken ones about sort of I've been somewhat hard on Brady. I think he's going to have to bear a lot more of the responsibility this year. When you look at Darrell Henderson last year, the amount of 80-yard quick strike runs that team was able to take advantage of, I'm not sure are going to be there this year. So he's going to have to find a way to push the ball downfield a little more. But from what I understand and from what I've heard around the block is that he sort of had an injury he was fighting through last year. And certainly you would hope that would help him with the downfield passing game. But I think a year within this system with Mike Norvell will do wonders for Brady. I'm not necessarily sure it will be the jump that we saw, in Paxton Lynch or Riley, but certainly there will be a jump in understanding and just no more silly mistakes. And I think that will make a big difference for Brady this year.
Take care of that football. Do not turn the ball over.
Exactly.
And I love quoting an old coach from the past. Try to end every series with the ball being kicked, either an extra point or a punt or a field goal attempt.
And at times last year, I think Brady did a good job of that. And at times, I bet he was out there trying not to make mistakes in certain situations. But this year, I think it'll make all the difference. But again, my big question this whole offseason is, what will the difference? How much will he improve from year one to year two?
Gabe, let our listeners know right now in the building what team building is like, what team unity, because once the season starts, offense goes their way and defense goes their way. O-line kind of goes its way, running backs, receivers, the pretty guys, Gabe, even the pretty linemen, everybody kind of goes to their own corner. But right now, what's it like at night? Getting to know the new guys, getting to know maybe a transfer, getting to know a defensive player.
That is the one thing about a fall camp in football that is unbeaten. Is just the sort of nostalgic feeling of just how these guys interact. And you get a lot of freshmen that come in and tell you a bunch of stories. I know Norvell and them will be out in Jackson at some point this fall camp doing, they sit around the fire, tell each other stories and everything like that. But it's just, you learn so much because you're around these guys 24/7. And while fall camp is always a grind and always tough, that is the lone bright spot and the fun part when you really think about it, because you just get to meet and understand everybody for who they are and everything like that.
Did you like the Jackson experience, and did you think it worked?
I certainly enjoyed it to a certain extent. Obviously, when I got older, I stayed home anyway, so I just wanted to lay in my own bed. But you know what? I thought it was definitely worked. I thought it definitely worked because you have to be around these guys to understand fully who they are. I think the Jackson thing, as opposed to sleeping at your own house and not sort of creating those bands. I think Jackson was the way to go as soon as Norvell put that into motion. I think everybody fell in line, and it's become sort of a good tradition for the program, honestly.
Yeah, I like it, and he's really carved a niche. Now, it's not the Junction Boys and Barry Bryant taking them out to try to run them all off. This is more team building instead of kind of separating the wheat from the chaff. Gabe, it's going to be fun on Tuesday afternoon. We will do W's and L's on Tuesday the 27th. Next week, a little more X's and O's. But today, I kind of wanted to get a feel of the culture and the climate around starting the camp. It's going to be fun visiting with you. Thank you. Enjoy your time away.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to see you.
Appreciate it, Brett.
You got it.
Talk to you Tuesday.
You got it. Be safe getting home. Gabe Kuhn, former Tiger, 50. Did you say 51 starts?
51. He's one behind Drew Kaiser, who has the record, who beat it last year.
And Drew Kaiser, I think, a big loss for this team, especially on opening day, replacing that center with all the new that they have going on offense and defense. The Ole Miss-Memphis game, it's a lot of new going on both sides.
It is a lot of new, and mostly, I think, more question marks for Ole Miss when you start to talk about the.
I feel like I know the Tigers better than I do Ole Miss.
I do too, because the skills players, the playmakers more, but there are a lot of question marks on that offensive line. I think a guy like Scotty Dill is going to come in and make a big impact, and he has when he's gotten the chance to play over the last few years. Obviously, like Gabe said, backup offensive linemen don't really play that much. Starting linemen pretty much play every snap of the game. But when guys like Scotty and Abiza have been able to get a few shots at it, they've been doing very well. Now let's see how well they can hold the load, replacing the guys from last year. But as far as the playmakers, the guys that we see in the box scores, the guys who do the touchdown dances, we know who it's going to be.
We do, and I think both sides have equal that. Most games for me do come down to the line of scrimmage, and I right now, 3-4 weeks, however many days out, I think it will be an offensive defensive line game for Memphis and Ole Miss. Kind of the same questions for both sides exist. And then, home field advantage, seasoned quarterback, won that game in that spot the last time it was played there. None of these guys are participating in it, but the fans know that, and they will respond to it. Look, this summer, every time I've traveled, every time I've left the house, I've made sure to take my Harry's razors with me. A lot of guys will try to save money during the summer on a travel, on a trip, and not pack that. You're doing it completely wrong. Feel the refreshing summer breeze against your face after a smooth shave with your Harry's razors. Get a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just use stats at harrys.com. Harry's believes you shouldn't have to trade quality for a low price. You deserve both. Harry's makes quality, durable blades at a very fair price, just $2 per replacement cartridge, half the price of the leading competitor, 100% quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, let them know and they'll give you a full refund. Harry's cares about giving back. 1% of sales donated to charitable organizations. This summer, Harry's has a special offer for listeners of this show. New customers get $5 off a trial set from Harry's with code STATS at harrys.com. That means you get a razor, weighted handle, foaming shaving gel, travel cover for just $3 plus free shipping when you use code STATS at harrys.com. And when you run out, remember, Harry's replacement cartridges are just $2 each. When I shave with Harry's. I need to get some Harry's razors for Big Gabe because he's got the big offensive lineman beard going, doesn't he?
He does, but I don't think he's ready to shave it.
No.
I think it looks good on him.
I'm not shaving him.
I'm not either.
I'm not shaving. It's going to be fun with Gabe. He's great to have around, isn't he?
Oh, he's
We talked
phenomenal.
about it yesterday. I'm glad y'all were buds and good pals in school.
Yeah, he was a good one to have.
And I said a few weeks ago, I think we're really missing that when we kind of segregate athletes from the general population of students in going to classes. They miss something. They miss meeting regular guy that's going to go off in regular job someday.
For me, I never thought
the ball players.
I never thought we really had that problem at Memphis. Maybe it's just a different culture, different thing.
Taking on now.
Because, I mean, like I said, me and Gabe took 4 or 5 classes together. I took a class with Markel Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of guys from the football team that took accounting classes with a lot of my friends and stuff.
Like, that's a real class.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, high level, like 3,000, 4,000 level classes. Like, they were in class. So.
That's not ballroom dancing.
No.
That's a real class. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 87.7. And 96.1.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through the midday with Sports 56 Middays. Delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 till 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar? Your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick.
There are over 5,000 songs on the radio that talk about home. But without realtors, there's a chance there wouldn't be any songs about home, or coming home, or take me home, or sweet home, or who says you can't go home. Luckily, there are over 1.3 million realtors who dedicate their lives to finding you the perfect place to sing home about. So count on members of the National Association of Realtors, one of the most trusted organizations since 1908. That's who we are.
Family Leisure is celebrating the end of summer with the appropriately titled End of Summer Liquidation Sale. You can get pools for as low as $19.99, patio furniture starting at $12.99, and swim spas, they begin at $99.99. Don't forget to ask about fast installation because there's still enough summer left to enjoy these deals during the End of Summer Liquidation Sale happening now at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
First Bank is here to help you, whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car, or wanting a competitive rate on your CD deposits. Let First Bank try to handle your banking needs. Stop into one of First Bank's 3 local branches today. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or check them out online at firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Gun enthusiasts in the Mid-South know all about guns and ammo at 3615 Summer and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven, because they carry the largest selection of both guns and ammo in the area. They are authorized dealers of Colt, Benelli, CZ, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Ruger, Sig Sauer, Vergara, and a lot more. If you or someone you know is looking for something for self-defense, competition, hunting, or just something that goes boom, then get to Guns and Ammo, 3615 Summer in Memphis and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochen and Brett Norsworthy.
Drew, answer this for me. Most important game this season for the Memphis Tigers on their football schedule.
Sorry, I had to get my headphones working. What did you say?
I'm sorry. Most important game on the Tigers schedule this year. What is it?
At Houston.
I agree. I know the proverbial, we go 1-11. I know a lot of people's won. Not yours.
Not mine. And I privately told you this, but I'll publicly say it. Why I want to beat Ole Miss, why I like the rivalry, why I want to be on the winning side of that.
You want to win them all.
Yeah, of course, you want to win them all, but games don't start mattering to me till September 26th. I mean, because ultimately, we're going to beat Southern, going to beat South Alabama.
Just one win over Navy?
Yes. One win since they've won the conference.
Heartbreaking losses, including last year, that I did not see coming.
I didn't either. I thought we had it wrapped up, and then
the Navy was very gettable last year.
Yeah, they were. They were not the same Navy that they normally are, but
Coach Ken Niumatalolo, right?
Yeah, Ken Niumatalolo. if we go 12-1 and the Ole Miss loss is the one, and that means we're winning the American, that means that we're in the Cotton Bowl. Yeah, I won't even remember August 31st.
What if it's the one loss is USF, South Florida, Charlie Strong's club?
That would be fine since it's on the east side of the conference, and I don't think it would affect the actual.
Not a lot of damage.
Yeah, especially if you come back and beat Cincinnati, only a one-loss team. I mean, you pretty much got it wrapped up unless Houston, because you'll have the tiebreaker over Houston and everybody else.
The downside to that potential loss is that could be the one that makes that another championship game road trip back down to Raymond James to play them if they survive the East.
Yeah, if they do. Now, they got to survive past Cincinnati and Central Florida, and ultimately you'd like to be undefeated in conference to actually host the game this year. That's why I said I'd much rather go undefeated in conference than win the Ole Miss game. Now, I want to win the Ole Miss game. I want to make that very clear as I sit here in my Memphis alumni hat. Mm-hmm. I want to win them all. But if I had to pick one to lose, it would be that one, because ultimately when it's all said and done, when it comes down to the New Year's Six Bowl being at Jerry's World, it doesn't matter. It matters what you do in conference. It matters winning that conference championship game. It matters finishing 12-1.
But for that special season.
For the special season, yes. Sure. It really puts the cherry on top. But if I don't have the cherry, I still get a Sunday. I still get a real nice Sunday.
Very nice. Temple, I'm concerned about the Temple game. I'm not. I have it in indelible ink, but I'm talking right now in lightly shaded pencil. Is that allowed?
It's allowed.
You can talk.
I mean, I'm still all for lightly shaded pencil. It's lightly shaded
What's
pencil.
What's the cutoff?
Deadline.
Oh, until it goes in indelible ink?
I mean, for games, top 10 college football games, it doesn't have to be in ink until 4/29.
What do you think we get most wrong in the run-up to college football season? If we had to kind of do the self-scout.
Get most
67129 at the First Bank phone line.
Because I get a lot of stuff wrong.
I do too. I get some right, but then we talk more about what you get wrong.
I'd say we get the thing that most people get most wrong is the surprise team that breaks through their quote-unquote reputation. The Kentucky winning 10 games.
Great point.
That thing. People get that type of team wrong.
Yeah.
It's trying to – you get –
because we stereotype them.
Exactly. You
Kentucky's going 6
stereotype,
and 6
and then you try to pick the right surprise team, and they don't happen, and you pick then you have them going
Missouri
6 and
feels
6,
like the soup of the day du jour surprise team this year, don't they?
Yes, just because of
Kelly
what they
Bryant really helps
had
that
transferred
too.
in.
And now, if they in season, if they're rolling along and they get that good news from the NCAA, that will really help them. We're up against the top of the hour break to start hour 2. We do it talking college football. We'll continue this with Brent Beard. 360-8255 at the First Bank phone line, 67129 at the First Bank text line. Let me know, what do you think we get most wrong? We meaning you too. What do we get most wrong in the college football run-up, in the prediction business, in all the W's and L's and where people rank in conference? I'd love to know that. Because always the self-examination, the self-scout, I'm always looking for that. I like Drew's take on it. That I think that is often, we never get the surprise team right. I heard Greg and Eli today talking about the CBS top 1 through 130 teams. Some surprises there. Arkansas State ahead of Arkansas. I don't think that's any surprise in reality, but still to see it comes as a historical surprise. Hour 1 in the books. When we come back, we start hour 2 with Brent Beard in Jacksonville, talking college football. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1.
Frontier Western Store's world-famous boot showroom is waiting for you. With aisles and aisles of boots in one easy spot, you will find your next favorite pair at Frontier. Everyone loves Ariat boots, and Frontier has over 1,000 pair in that brand alone. Come grab a pair of rugged work boots like the Workhog, or discover an everyday classic in Ariat's Rambler. Tons of other brands as well: Rocky, Dan Post, Red Wing, Durango, Justin, Twisted X, and many more. Frontier constantly restocks and refreshes their lineup of boots, so you're certain to walk out of the store happy in your new comfortable footwear. They have a wide assortment of sizes available for men, women, and children. Work, dress, or play, Frontier's knowledgeable staff will cheerfully help you find the perfect fit. It's boots galore at Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road, Olive Branch, or on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated, you know it, since 1967.
Upgrade your commute at Acura of Memphis. Seize the thrill and test drive one of our award-winning models, each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore, it should be an adventure. Advance your drive today. Shop our aggressive lease and finance options now. Luxury is waiting at Acura of Memphis, or shop online 24/7. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
We should come to Sweetgrass for brunch every Sunday.
We do come to Sweetgrass for brunch every Sunday.
Right, well, we should keep doing this. These biscuits and gravy are the best I've ever had. I could have them for breakfast every day.
Look at these perfect poached eggs on top of crab cakes. Only a real chef would think of making this.
I'm almost to the point of making the turn. I've had everything on the Sweetgrass brunch menu, and I'm going to start back at the beginning.
It's important to have goals.
Why would we go anywhere else?
We don't go anywhere else. Last night you refilled everyone's water.
Well, I just wanted to make sure they knew we were part of the Sweetgrass family.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between, in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
This is what Flo from Progressive sounds like in one of our many hilarious commercials.
Hi! Did you know that you can get a quote on your motorcycle insurance in under 3 minutes at Progressive.com? And did you know that saying hi makes even bad news sound good? Hi! You have high cholesterol! Hi! You're fired!
And this is what that same commercial sounds like on your motorcycle.
Hi! There's no more tank!
Yeah, Even our commercials sound better on a bike. And with basic policy starting at $75 a year, Progressive helps keep you on yours. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish. But there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Thank you very much, Drew Barrett. Hour 2 begins. We're in our Family Leisure Studios, wherever we are, any day. Whether we're on remote, we're always in our Family Leisure Studios, and we sure appreciate them. Dave will be back in here in these Family Leisure Studios on Thursday. Look, Dave is on a golf trip, and I'm glad that he is. Now, I think he's got another day or two he's going to take, because this is the math for Dave when it starts, okay? When it starts, game week, that Monday. Well, he's got his duties here and covering the team, press conferences, coaches' availability, things like that, run up to preparation for the broadcast. On Saturday, he's doing the game. On Sunday, he's doing the coaches' shows. It's 7 days a week until the Tigers are eliminated from the NCAA tournament, whenever that is.
I mean, he could be going all the way to April.
He could easily be going to about April 10th or so. Whatever that, I think it's another late Monday, like April. What is the date of the finals? I'm going to look that up right now. It's out there. So that's his stretch, April 6th. So that'd be home the 7th, if it's that, the finals. So home the 7th. You don't just get home and turn it off. I mean, so that's the stretch. That's the pace he's running at. And I can tell you, I only do half that. And you know what a noodle I am.
Yeah, I do. It's going to be, this be the first time that I've worked with Dave throughout this whole football, college basketball same. So I hear he handles it pretty well, but I'd like to see for myself.
Well, we will have him in here, and he'll have a few more days. Well, I'm going to take a little respite right before the week before opening week. So there'll be a couple crossovers. We're not going to be in here together, but when it starts, we'll be in here quite a bit. On Tuesdays, we visit with our friend Brent Beard down in Jacksonville. And Brent, you know how this works. You've done sports talk radio for a long, long time. Stumbled onto this topic at the end of the last hour, kind of in a self-reflective, self-scout manner. So I'm going to ask you the question I have out there at 67129 at the First Bank text line. Tell me what you think we get the most wrong in the run-up to college football. Good afternoon, Brent.
Well, that's a good question, Brad. Good afternoon to you. I would say probably, and look, you can't help it. That's just part of it, and it makes sense. I think what we get wrong is we look back at what happened to individual teams last year during the season, particularly at the end of the year, and we think that's going to be a carbon copy of what we're going to get in the fall when, frankly, that is just not true.
It's a new year.
Your really good teams can really struggle and be out of form from what they were last year. The mediocre teams can find a player or two in the off season that can make a difference in winning 2 or 3 games. So I would probably say just going on the basis of what we had seen before is going to be the template for the next season.
And that, in a roundabout way, that's what Drew got to, in that we so stereotype and kind of pigeonhole the not-so-good teams, kind of copy and paste year to year, and he brought up Kentucky from last year. I thought Kentucky last year could have a good season. I didn't see double-digit wins and really for 3 quarters laying it on Penn State, hanging on to win, but they did hang on to win. He said he thinks we miss the surprise teams because we just too often kind of write the 6-6 team in there as 6-6 the next year.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think the reality is you've got a lot of these teams that are probably that you would call 7-5 and 6-6 teams. So you could, and to Kentucky's credit, Brent, I'm not sure you can do that again, which is great for their program. Now, look, I'm not saying they're going to win the East by any stretch of the imagination, but I think they have got a situation now, and it's funny you mentioned them because was listening to some talk about and the projections on their year, and now see, here's what makes a difference in whatever sport it is. The teams that can win these 50-50 games are going to be the ones that really do well with that. And when you look at Kentucky, you've got now that they got Florida at home, but the Gators are still a better team, I think, with their roster. But you're looking at Mississippi State, and South Carolina, Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, and then you've got UT Martin and Louisville. I mean, if they could win some of these 50-50 games, meaning Mississippi State, South Carolina, Arkansas, Missouri, and Tennessee, and Vandy, look, Brad, they've got a shot again at winning. I'm not going to say they're going to win double digits again, but it's conceivable they could win, 7, 8, maybe even 9 games and keep that thing really rolling.
And what a tribute to Mark Stoops and the job that he's done, and he also vanquished Big Bad Bobby Petrino in doing it.
Well, I think we could almost say at this point that there might just be something to Kentucky and being able to get to the point to where you remember what Rich Brooks did there?
Yes, and what he left Joker Phillips.
And yes, and Randall Cobb, and some of those guys. I mean, now listen, you put that together, Brett, where Rich Brooks had that run of about 5 or 6 years of bowl games. Mark Stoops is doing the same thing. Now, we're not saying Kentucky's going to win the East, but I think what you're saying right now is the great thing for Kentucky fans would be, could you make the argument, Brad, the last, 2 decades has been some of the best football they played in many decades?
Yeah, and the whole transformation of their footprint, of their program, of their facilities. I was stunned. I talk about it to every Kentucky fan I know. I just didn't expect that. It feels like Mizzou could be this year's version of Kentucky from last year. Roll into that bowl game if they got the relief from the NCAA at 9 wins, win that bowl game, finish double-digit win season, and really buy Barry Odom a lot of time.
They could. Now, again, what you don't know is it's kind of like Oklahoma and Jalen Hurts and Kelly Bryant in Missouri. There were a reason those guys were backups instead of starters at the end of their career at their previous school. Now, can those guys turn the corner? But with Missouri, the great thing for them is, and everybody's commented on this probably by now, or if they haven't seen it, they will, but you've got a Missouri team that, frankly, has got a schedule, Brett, where they are going to very possibly by the time they get to Georgia, they may have at the most 2 losses, or they could have 1, or maybe they could even be. Look, it's not inconceivable they could be undefeated. Wyoming, West Virginia, South Missouri State, South Carolina, Troy,
I have them
Ole Miss,
undefeated.
Vandy, and Kentucky. Brett, how many of those games can they win?
I've got mine. I've got them undefeated to that point. Now I need a little relief from the NCAA to kind of to buoy them as the rocket
that's
booster.
Happen. That's going to happen. This bunch, they deserve to be in a bowl. And if they're not in a bowl, that's absolute foolishness.
You've got more faith in NCAA than I do, Brent.
Yeah, and I believe me, I don't have much.
I'm pretty burned.
But again, that's the intriguing thing to me about the league is even above and beyond. Well, is Alabama and Georgia going to be back in the playoffs? Well, that's always fun to discuss, and I get that. But to me,
so many more stories,
I get as much of enjoyment in looking at some of these teams like Kentucky, Missouri, and just thinking about what they might do.
I do too. There are so many more stories than just at the top. Of course, at the top, it's going to get its ink. It's going to get its part of the newspaper. It's going to get a lot of page 1. But there's more than just the front page of the newspaper, and there's more than just one topic for Sports Talk Radio, especially in the run up to college football. Visiting with Brent Beard from 9:30 a.m. in Jacksonville. Longtime Jacksonville radio type. He was at 1010 XL when it started and built into the colossus that it is. In Jacksonville Sports Talk Radio right now, when it goes college variety, what's the percentage breakdown for SEC to ACC?
You've got, I will always say, this is a Gator town. Gainesville is an hour and 15 minutes away. So because of that, you've got a lot of, and they have used this term more than me, of old-time Gators. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that they are
Mr. Two-Bits.
They're old in age.
Yeah.
I just mean that they've been around the program for a long time. So so basically, I mean, the 3 main teams here are Florida, Georgia, and Florida State. Now, you've got a lot of Miami fans here, too. But I tell you what, you would be surprised at the number of, now, obviously, tremendous amount of Alabama fans here, of Tennessee, but you'd all be surprised how many Ohio State and Michigan.
They're everywhere.
Fans who are here. We're in Memphis may begin to be the same way. We're an absolute hodgepodge, Brett, of different fans because of the number of people who moved in here over the years.
Exactly, and you want to see the real melting pot. You want to see Ohio State on a Friday afternoon, and I saw it when we were up there last year when Ole Miss was up playing Vandy on a Friday afternoon in Nashville. The cars decorated with Ohio State stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
On a football Friday.
I understand that. It's amazing, frankly, how many different fans, and you're beginning, and there's a pretty good Central Florida group.
Yeah,
that's
deserving
here too, with Orlando being pretty close. So, I mean, but and I know you've been here. Does that surprise you at all? How diversified this city is now?
No, it doesn't, because I mean, you can look at the Electoral College. You can look at population shifts, and a lot of them have moved down here, and glad to have them. Now, in what we do, I get it every year, and I've gotten it for as long as I've been doing this, and coming up on 27 years, and forever, from Buckeye or from Wolverine or from Nittany Lion, from Nebraska. Got a lot of that in the 90s. Need more of this. Well, we can't sacrifice kind of our area for that, no more than in Columbus and State College and Ann Arbor, are they sacrificing for SEC talk?
No, I would guess they're not, but I'm sure they're either mildly amused or highly irritated at the number of FCC fans who are going to call and beat their chest about how good they are. But that's really the beauty, frankly, of this area. And listen, I was surprised about this, Brett, but I am until I get on the road and see the traffic. But since about, I saw the number a few weeks ago, since about 2013, we've had about 80,000 people move into the area, which is a heck of a lot of people.
And great for property value.
And you're right. And a lot of those folks are not just from 200-mile radius here. A lot of them are the way the town's growing. You've got a lot of new jobs that open up and things of that nature. So it's funny. Florida State plays Boise to open the season. I was talking to a woman the other day. She said, "You know, I'm a Boise State grad, don't you? And I've got some family and friends coming over here for the game. So listen, and that's one of the great things about it being. And the NFL people will argue with me about this, but I think it's still a college town in a college area because when you drive around, people are wearing the college T-shirts, the bumper stickers, and the tags, and things like that. That's what I see every day.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I just so wish that to those fans of Big Ten, mostly Big Ten, I wish they knew how much I respect and like it. You know, if by that fate I'd been born in Ely, Rye, Ohio, I think I'd still love college football, and probably up there would be, where my loyalties and my teams would be. But I wasn't, but I love those teams and those histories, and I love this time of year talking it. And during the course of the year, it's why we have Bill Bender from the Sporting News on with us at 3:30 on Thursdays. That's largely the national scene. Now, often it turns into SEC because the SEC's a lot of the national conversation. At 67129 at the First Bank text line. Here's one on kind of the self-scout analysis of us going into the season. Texter says, I think not realizing how important the offensive and defensive lines are. I think that is where we miss the mark, and they change constantly in talent. I couldn't agree more, and that's my go-to, and that is Phil Steele's. I mean, that is his blocking and tackling. It is his holy grail, is the returning starts in the offensive line.
Listen, I have agreed with that for years because look, if you can't keep your quarterback upright, it really doesn't matter how many running backs and receivers you have, is it, Brett?
No.
But because if he doesn't have time to throw, or if you can't run the ball, at that point, it's not going to matter.
I said today, Brent, about the Ole Miss Memphis game in a conversation with my brother. I said, I think both sides have quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. I just don't know about offensive line or defensive line for either one of them.
Yeah. Well, see, that Gator fans are really excited about their club because they've got 3 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, 6 or 7 wide receivers, but they've got to replace 4 or 5 offensive linemen.
Good luck.
So I'm telling you right now, if their offensive line was coming back intact, they would be predicted to be a playoff team right now, but they're not.
And a lot will fall opening night to Felipe Franks, and he could look very pedestrian, but it'll be because he doesn't have anybody in front of him.
Yeah. And look, Miami's strength is their front 7 with their they got maybe the best linebacking group possibly in the nation with Pinckney and Quarterman. Quarterman actually is from our area. Shaq does a tremendous job. So, to your point, Florida, whether they win or not, will be determined on how they can keep Felipe Franks in a clean pocket. If they can do that, I think they've got a chance to win the game by double digits. If they don't, that game goes to the fourth quarter, and it's in doubt late.
getaway question for our friend Brent Beard down in Jacksonville, College Football Authority. Who's that surprise team in the ACC? Can we count FSU as that?
I would go more with Syracuse than I would Florida State. By the way, if you want to get inspired, like watching a Rocky movie, listen to Dino Babers for a while. Yeah. Tremendous coach. He's not going to be at Syracuse, I don't think, much longer, Brent. Right now, I would say, and I think this is probably the best Boston College team we've seen in a while. Now, Miami could win their division. I think FSU's better. I think they're 7-5, maybe even 8-4, but I don't have any confidence they could win that division. So I think as far as surprise teams, I frankly would go with Syracuse at this point. They've come as close, Brett, to beating Clemson as anybody lately.
Brent, I know you are. You sitting down?
Yes.
I've got Syracuse beating Clemson, and I have Boston College beating Clemson. You laughed right in my face. You laughed right in my face, Brent. That was great.
No,
I'm one of the few in Western civilization.
With you.
Oh, thank you.
Because
thank you.
we brought up both those teams.
Yeah.
And listen, I'll say this. Now look, do I think Clemson's going to be in the playoffs? Yes.
I don't.
Could they play Alabama again? Yes. But the reality is they don't have the D-line they did last year.
They sure don't.
Which goes to our conversation. And Brett, if you don't, that makes you susceptible a little bit, don't it?
You know, that day that Trevor Lawrence, maybe he's not perfect or just shy of perfect. Now, he's all that. They could score so many darn points that they don't need a defense, but that's rare that you have a year like that. A lot to discuss as we wind down to the start of the year, 18 days away from Gators and the U. Brent, we'll visit next Tuesday afternoon. It was fun today. Thank you.
Always, brother. Take care.
You got it. Brent Beard from Jacksonville talking college football with us. 67129 at the First Bank text line. Text us your thoughts about the college football season, your predictions, and what we might get wrong. That texter I thought was right on it about offensive and defensive lines. That's a pretty good mainstay for me. Doesn't mean I get it right, but I always look at that. Also, this text at 67129, will Ole Miss sell out? Give me your prediction. I assume he means, will the Ole Miss Tigers game sell out? Do you think that's what he means, Drew?
That's what if I had to take a stab at it, I'd say that's what it is.
Sell out. Now, what is a hard sellout at the Liberty Bowl now? About 58?
58 and change.
You know, isn't that something after we had the expansion on the search for the NFL and our
got up to 63?
Got up to 66.
66?
Tigers and Ole Miss in 87, I want to say, was 66, and the very next day, and that was the first year of the expanded stadium, and the very next day, in fact, the very next morning, was Kansas City and the Cardinals, maybe still in St. Louis Cardinals. We came right back out with about 66 the next afternoon for it.
What year was this again?
87.
64,187.
Okay, 64.
Yeah.
So 64. So we're down to 58. So we're really now, we're almost down to about what it was before the expansion of, it was 50 and change, maybe 51, 52 or so you could squeeze in there for.
I think they've pretty much just widened seats. They've kind of just, they've widened out the numbers.
Well, a lot of it is ADA compliance and should, and absolutely should be accommodating. It's the law, whether you should or shouldn't, you have to do it. My answer, I don't think it will be. I think it'll be, the first number will be a 5, and that's enough, though, don't you?
I'm okay with it.
Now, 2015, was it hard, every head bowed, every eye closed, sell out in 2015?
2015, according to the media guide, had 60,241.
Close enough. Yeah, that's it for that day. And that was mostly Tigers.
It was. It was about 85-15.
That was not one of those where Ole Miss did it that day. And I say that to get around to this. I don't think it's ever on the visitor to make it the hard sellout.
And it shouldn't be, because for one, they're not it's not their place to sell out, and then two, they don't. I mean, depending on
Ole Miss's responsibility for Alabama and Oxford's on Ole Miss fans.
Yeah, and I mean, depending on how many tickets each university gives each other.
Now,
I mean, sometimes
now
to buy tickets through your team's athletic office, they only have so many.
Now, it is a great barometer to see where we are in the life of this series. I'm clear. I like this game. I want this game. I prefer it anywhere on the schedule, but I much prefer it as the opener. It may be never again. And be careful saying never and ever. That really means a long time. But it may never again be the opener. It could be a while before it's anywhere, but with both sides contractually bound in other places. The first opening is 03, 04, or 23, 24 in there if the sides could do it. If they want to do it, they can get it done. But if we got out there, okay, it's 90, humidity's high, but it's sunny, it's hot, and we had 38,000, well, that's telling me that there's not a lot of appetite either side for this game, and maybe a little absence will make the heart grow fonder.
I don't think that low of a number will happen. I mean, for me, the lowest number that I think we'd see is 45, depending on weather. I mean, if we got just the worst weather of all weather, which
and hadn't you gotten that out of your
I
system?
have gotten it the last couple of years.
Boy, you have.
It will be, but I'm kind of
the hurricane game.
Yeah,
when it was raining Forrest Gump upside down.
It really was. I mean, it was sideways rain, big drops of rain.
it was
coming from the bottom.
It was everywhere. That night, driving to Oxford was a challenge. Listening to the game was a challenge. And I said that the next day, and you said, "Oh, listening to it was tough." Try sitting in it, Brett.
Yeah, try standing in it all 4 quarters.
Gigantically late for a break, and I normally don't do that. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Soulfish Cafe has done something that no other business in the history of Memphis has ever done. They won 3 different categories in the Memphis Most. They won it for the best catfish. We all know that's the best catfish, and you can get it fried like everybody does, or you could get it, if you wanted to, grilled or blackened. It's the best. Everybody says it. Then there's seafood. We know about their beautiful shrimp. You can get those fried. You can get them grilled. The shrimp tacos are terrific. Memphis Most, best seafood. Then there's soul food. Yes, a 3rd category, soul food. Their veggies are unbelievable. They've got this sauerkraut sausage Cajun dish that is amazing. I love the cucumber salad. Everything is always so fresh. And now, there's 3 locations with a 4th one coming to Wolf Chase soon. The original Cooper Young, the shops of Forest Hill Irene, and of course the newest in East Memphis. That's on Poplar, just east of Perkins in the old Wolf Camera location. They're the best. You said it. They're Soulfish.
Driving is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now, that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving, built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
There are over 5,000 songs on the radio that talk about home. But without realtors, there's a chance there wouldn't be any songs about home, or coming home, or take me home, or sweet home, or who says you can't go home. Luckily, there are over 1.3 million realtors who dedicate their lives to finding you the perfect place to sing home about. So count on members of the National Association of Realtors, one of the most trusted organizations since 1908. That's who we are.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2019 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing. At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brad Noseworthy.
Drew, you're still working away on your big top 10 college football games of the year. Completed?
Done.
I saw the. But in lightly shaded pencil, why are you worried about it?
Because I accidentally
it's not
rewrote it wrong.
Lightly shaded pencil season. That's over, Drew. You're wrong.
It's not wrong. It's not over till the deadline.
Up until the last game. Huh?
I work on deadlines. I work best with 5 minutes left to go.
Deadlines help us all, don't they? Deadlines are a good thing in life. We welcome you back in. Dave will be back on Thursday. We are talking college football, and we'd like for you to be a part of it at 360-8255. I know you can't rattle through all your top 10, but give me a game or two you're looking forward to in this college football season, maybe outside of our area, more of a national perspective. We're going to do the top 10 college football games. I have mine. I thought mine fell out pretty easily. And they all ultimately impact the college football playoff, but that doesn't mean the other games are not important. 67129 to weigh in at the First Bank text line. You got a nice compliment. Drew may be the most sane Tiger fan out there. That was the best defense of Ole Miss, because some Tiger fans can be so hateful. I don't think hateful. I think passionate. And look, we want that. We want this, don't we? We deal in the passion business.
I want to be hated. I've told you plenty of times.
But sports hated.
That's sport hated. Yes. I want to be sports hated. I want to know what it feels like for somebody to just look at me wearing a T-shirt and go, ugh, I don't like that guy.
Man, you don't think I've ever gotten that?
Oh, I know you have, but I want it. I want that feeling. It makes me feel like I've made it, like my team and my university's made it. And I'm starting to feel that way. So
I told you
any Ole Miss fan that wants to give me the hate, just bring it on. It'll make me feel happy.
The darn Boise fans, that year Ole Miss opened in the Chick-fil-A game, that Thursday night opening game. Wow, it was like they had their talking points down when they encountered Ole Miss gear, Ole Miss shirt, Ole Miss guy or gal. And very, very aggressive. I thought, man, who made Boise so mad?
Well, I'm never really one of the guys that gives out the punches. I'll take them, and I like it. I like being yelled at. It makes me feel good, because you don't yell at people that's not on your level or above you. But I've never been one of those people to really just go after somebody because that's the way they are. And to tell you the truth, regardless of how bad I've ever seen into college football, NFL fans are the worst.
Woo!
I've never been called worse names in my life for wearing a Joe Flacco jersey in Nashville. In Nashville.
You told me that before. No.
As a 17-year-old kid, too. I was a child. Not a child, but
legally.
Legally, I was a child. And the fan who legally hit me in the head could have legally gone to jail.
Yeah. The NFL fans, I think they bring more than the passion, but I like that, too, because I don't really have an NFL team. When I go, I'm kind of the people-watching guy at NFL, and I like seeing them mix it up like that, because I mostly don't care.
Normally, I like to see it, unless it's me getting personally involved.
But you got a team.
Yes, I do have it.
But you got a team that you're a diehard about. 67129 at the First Bank text line, 360-8255. No, I'm going to try to, no matter what, win or lose about the same way, and generally try to act about the same way, because for as much as I want my team to win, and my team being Ole Miss, I'm not playing. I really, really don't affect the outcome. And
neither do I, and that's why I don't want people on Monday to call me and acting like I was on the field, like I was on the offensive line or I was playing quarterback. And that's one thing I get all the time from some people. They yell at me like I'm the coach. Like, come on, man, I didn't do anything.
But I understand that passion, and I understand people, with my link to the team that, opposing fans and Ole Miss fans alike. A lot of times that's directed at me. One time since I've been on the Ole Miss crew and getting ready to start my 12th year on opening day with the Tigers and Ole Miss at the Liberty Bowl. And it's kind of full circle for me. First game that first year in 2008 was Tigers and Ole Miss in Oxford that year. One time, and it was in Little Rock, game-winning field goal in 2012, where I kind of was out of line and quickly was brought back in line by my cohorts that you don't celebrate like that in the press box and with a credential on. But it was a game-winning field goal, and I kind of forgot for a second where I was and what I was supposed to be doing, and
it happens. I mean, we've seen it here with Grizzlies in the playoffs.
We did.
Credentialed people aren't always the best mannered,
and we were laughing about it before we got to Duval's Bluff to eat barbecue. So, but it shouldn't happen among, as I like to call it, people that should know better. And I'm going to try to win and lose and try to act the same, regardless in victory or in defeat. But, yeah, I mean, when we get to these predictions, I think people know on that game what I'm going to predict, and that's more of what I'm for. But I'm going to try to be, if I may, fair and balanced and be nice about the conversation, and glad we're celebrating that game. And I will miss that game, and I'm afraid it's going to be a while, as we were talking about before the break. Again, using ever and never, I'm scared to on those. But a long time before opening day again. Was in 2008, was in 2009, wasn't in 14, 15, and 16, and will be this year.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's kind of my childhood in one
Mine
game
too.
Is Memphis Ole Miss to start out the season, especially in the early aughts, right, as I'm coming of age, around the 6 to 10 year mark, either going down to Oxford or going
Mine
to the
was
Liberty
early
Bowl.
70s.
Well, see, one of my earliest memories is the Memphis Ole Miss game, going to the game Labor Day weekend, and then going out to Liberty Land. Like, that was one of the greatest, early life memories that I had.
Give me a year.
Tied.
Give me a roundabout year.
Early aughts, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Somewhere around the 5-6 year old mark.
99, maybe?
Could have been. Maybe it could have been 5 years
That
old.
was the 3-0 stinker. Woo, man. That set football back. Give me a tie before you give me that game again. 3-0. Oh, wow. It was really bad.
You know what I'd say? I'd rather have a winner. I don't care. I need a winner.
It was a winner that night, but it didn't feel like anybody won very much that night. 3-0 that night. It will not be 3-0 this year. Are you safe in that?
Yes, I'm pretty sure. I will put the house on it that it won't be 3-0.
Texture asks, who do I think it's most important for that night? Can I kind of take the gas on that one and say for both? Can I do that? Is that allowed?
I will allow it because I think it's correct. I think it's important for both. And while one fan base might want to downplay it a little bit more, I think it really is important to both fan bases, whether they both want to admit it or not.
Very important. No doubt about that. But kind of back to that 3-1, regardless of who the 3 and who the 1 for Ole Miss after 4 should be. But very important. And then week 2 against Arkansas, 0-2 start. I don't know many teams that's a very fun dynamic around if you start that way. Let's get to our top 10 college football games for this year. You got yours completed?
I do.
You need any more time?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, number 10 for me. It comes quickly. It's week 2. LSU at Texas. For the defeated team that night, that means they have to go undefeated in conference or they're out of the playoff picture. You can't take a second loss. Texas can go all the way through the Big 12 undefeated?
I'm not sure because I've actually got 2 Texas games on my top 10.
I have 2 Texas games. LSU going undefeated in SEC?
Probably not.
Probably not. Number 9 for me, Clemson at Syracuse, and I've called it today. I'm not gonna have Clemson in my college football 4. I'm one of the few people that dares to even talk about this. I hit the mic. That was me. It was not a technical malfunction out there. If you talk college football, you have Clemson in in your college football 4. I don't. I think they lose not once but twice, and I think the first one comes against Dino Babers and Syracuse. Can Syracuse run out the rest of the year in the ACC championship game undefeated? Probably not. So that would really, by my math, if LSU beats Texas and Syracuse beats Clemson, that kind of eliminates Big 12 and ACC from the CFP4. Weak answer, LOL, from the texter. Asked that. I asked if I could take the gas on that question, but it really does feel equally big.
And honestly, let's be honest, we're not playing a game of heck yes, hell no right now. So you can take the middle ground.
If I may change by opening day, for right now, I think Ole Miss.
I think it's more important.
Yeah, I do.
And just for this season, I'm guessing, because for this, to start out on that right foot.
For this mark of time, very, 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 very important. And the underdog. Decided underdog. To a team that the last time they played them there, they lost. So if I had to not get the LOL, I would go with Ole Miss, but reserve the right to change by opening day. Number 7 for me, Red River Shootout. I will always call it that. I will not call it the Red River Rivalry. No, they actually don't want to shoot anybody at that game. They don't. Texas and OU, going back to my LSU-Texas math. LSU beat Texas. Texas beat OU. Ooh. Then really in a fix for the Big 12 the rest of the way. Number 6 for me, the cocktail party. If everything broke right or wrong, however you see it nationally, cocktail party could have the repercussions, ramifications of a third SEC team in the CFP.
No, you're not going to sit there in that chair and say over these airways that you could possibly be 3 SEC teams.
Here it is. Georgia beats Florida that day. Georgia wins out SEC championship game, but they lose to Bama in that SEC championship game, but they're in the playoffs with just one loss. Florida doesn't have to go to that game, but that's their only loss in the cocktail party, right? You with me? Bama's undefeated. You know they're in, right? Georgia's in with that one loss in the SEC championship game. Florida would one be the 4 seed.
So many things would have to go wrong across the country.
Well,
we're having to look at a 2-loss Texas, 2-loss OU, 2-loss Ohio State, 2-loss Michigan, 2-loss Clemson. Not necessarily 2,
but maybe 2. But 2.
The country would have a cow.
It would, but with 2 losses, what could they say?
And pretty much everybody else would have to have 2 losses. Every other conference champion would have to be 2 losses.
Notre Dame's the real problem in that. That's the one that, because Notre Dame, they showed last year they're in and undefeated. They don't need a championship game. I don't think they have to have one. That schedule, always what they face, they're in. 1 loss Notre Dame would be in the cachet of Notre Dame over Florida and over the 2 losses. Number 5, Penn State at Ohio State, November 23rd. That's a week before the big rivalry weekend, the matchups, the state championships, all the different trophies. Penn State at Ohio State that week. Ohio State didn't take care of business that day, then the next week against Michigan would even be more important. Number 4, Utah at Washington, November 2nd. Winner of that game in the college football playoff. Winner of that game goes on and wins the Pac-12 championship game, goes to the CFP. Yeah. You look like
you truly are crazy.
You look like you want to administer the drug and alcohol test during the break.
I might need to.
Number 3, Notre Dame at Michigan, October 26th. Who can afford to really lose that game? Harbaugh can. He's got to start winning those games. Notre Dame probably needs to go undefeated, but may have some wiggle room more than others with the 1 loss because they are Notre Dame. Number 2, and not just because of the historical aspect of it, because of that day, what it did 2 years ago and on the Plains in Auburn, the Iron Bowl, Bama at Auburn, November 30th, the last playing date of the year. Number 1 game of the year, Ohio State at Michigan. At the Big House, it is the everything in one day, this is your life for Jim Harbaugh as coach of the the Wolverines. Your top 10.
All right, my top 10, just so everybody knows, nobody gets mad or anything. Conference games mean more to me, so they're going to, if all the big non-conference games are going to be at the back of the list, and then conference games come up. So at number 10, I've got Stanford at Central Florida, because I believe if Central Florida beats Stanford, that weakens the view of the Pac-12 once again. And if Stanford beats Central Florida, especially for people in the American, especially people like the Tiger fans out there, we're not going to be as afraid of that. We're going to know that, okay, that they're human, that loss from the bowl game wasn't a fluke, that they are really actually human. So I think that could be a huge impact. Number 9, I've got A&M at Clemson, because unlike you, that's the only possible game I see on their schedule that could be tough and they could lose. So I'll put that one as most important. 8, LSU versus Texas for all the reasons that you mentioned. Number 7, Notre Dame at Georgia. Just like you said, Notre Dame is a real wild card in there. With all the different teams they play this year, they can really mess up the college football playoff. Number 6, I put Memphis at Houston, because you asked me what the most important game is to me, and that's definitely the most important game for the Tiger season and for hopefully a Cotton Bowl berth. Number 5, Ohio State at Nebraska, a team that everybody seems to be high on, seems to think that Scott Frost, after only 1 year, is going to repeat the magic.
4-8 last year.
They think he's going to repeat the magic that he had at Central Florida, and he's going to really turn around. Everybody seems to be high on Nebraska, and that can definitely mix some things up. Number 4, the Red River Shootout, just like all the different reasons that you mentioned. Number 3, I've got the Cocktail Party, just to see how well Dan Mullen has transferred that Florida program. And I think that could be, if Georgia beats Notre Dame, that could be the one loss on Georgia's season. Like I said, I'm still in lightly shaded pencil. I haven't marked it in yet, but I'm starting to lean towards
How'd I leave out Georgia Notre Dame?
I don't know. Because there are so many games. I mean, literally, I personally wrote down 30 and had to get through to 10. Yeah. I mean, there just are that many great games in college football. Number 2, like you said, I think you had him at number 2, the Iron Bowl, just the repercussions that can happen on the plains.
It always sets off the unintended consequences.
It really does. And I got the same game at number 1, Michigan hosting Ohio State.
That'd be fun to go to, wouldn't it?
It would be. One, it could mess up the entire college football playoff and then mess up the entire college football universe. Jim Harbaugh loses that game, especially if Ohio State already has one loss. He gets the boot. I'm sorry, he's got to be done. The leashes should already be. Yes, it should be that way. The leash should, as tight as it should be now. He loses that game, can't beat Ohio State even once.
At home.
I mean,
this
exactly.
time.
If there's one program that right now would literally take 1-11, I think it's Michigan over Ohio State. They have lost to them so long, and they have had the day count of how many days since since they beat Ohio State shoved in their face so much that I think that they would take that 1-11, and it would completely upset the entire college football universe with Jim Harbaugh being out if they don't win.
And we know around here how much that third Saturday in October streak is eating at Tennessee fans, and feels like it may never be broken. It is stretched out about as long as it's ever been. How'd you like to be Michigan with that game? And Harbaugh the savior, and he hadn't saved anything yet. We take this break. When we come back, we wrap up hour 2. We want your thoughts on these big games, 67129 and 360-8255 at the First Bank phone and First Bank text line. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1.
Get happy with Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Family Leisure is celebrating the end of summer with the appropriately titled End of Summer Liquidation Sale. You can get pools for as low as $19.99, patio furniture starting at $12.99, and swim spas, they begin at $99.99. Don't forget to ask about fast installation because there's still enough summer left to enjoy these deals during the End of Summer Liquidation Sale happening now at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Around here, everyone knows you need the right tool for the job. It's the difference between orders filled and orders missed, between return customers and product returns. That's why I order from Grainger. With over 250 local branches, will-call product pickup, and a time-saving mobile app, it's easy to get it right. When it comes to getting what you need, when you need it, Grainger's got your back. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There are over 5,000 songs on the radio that talk about home. But without realtors, there's a chance there wouldn't be any songs about home, or coming home, or take me home, or sweet home, or who says you can't go home. Luckily, there are over 1.3 million realtors who dedicate their lives to finding you the perfect place to sing home about. So count on members of the National Association of Realtors, one of the most trusted organizations since 1908. That's who we are.
Sir Edmund Hillary was the first person to conquer Mount Everest. The first time he tried, he failed. He was knighted by the Queen of England, and at the gala occasion, on the wall behind the head table, was a huge picture of Mount Everest. The people gave him a standing ovation for even daring to attempt the climb. When they ceased applauding, Hillary turned his back to the audience, faced that picture of the awesome mountain, and said, "Mount Everest, you have defeated me once, and you might defeat me again, but I'm coming back again and again, and I'm going to win because you can't get any bigger, Mount Everest, and I can." What an attitude. What a difference it would make if we would say when we face the mountains in our own lives, you may defeat me once, you may defeat me twice, but you're not going to defeat me forever. I'm coming back and I'm going to win because you can't get any bigger and I can. I'm Shane Stanford from Christchurch, Memphis. Remember, you matter.
Visit ChristchurchMemphis.org.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
67129 at the First Bank text line. My goodness, look at the text. And that time of year would do it. I do have a Germantown Collierville Commissary Big Q of the Day for a 6-pack of barbecue at either the Germantown Commissary or the Collierville Commissary. We will do that phone or text. We've got a guest at the top of the hour, and Steve Earhart at 5:30. Let's do it mostly text. Is that okay, Drew? I know it crushes you.
No, it's fine.
67129. So much conversation about Georgia, and I like them to be in the college football playoff, even with that SEC championship loss, and I like them beyond that. If Georgia wins the national championship, Jake Fromm will be the quarterback of the national championship winning team. The last time Georgia won a national championship in football, who was their quarterback? Last time Georgia won the national championship in college football, who was the starting quarterback for the Georgia Bulldogs that year? That's easy, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Should be.
Did you know it? I asked you earlier, didn't I?
Well, it should be easy for anybody over my age.
And
I didn't
name.
know the answer.
67129, and a great name. One of the legendary names from the SEC. I did not see him at SEC Media Days this year. His station was there, and I think what they do is they send like one crew to Media Days and his crew to Super Bowls. I think that's how they do it. He's always a blast to talk to. 67129, starting quarterback the last time the Georgia Bulldogs were the national champions in college football. We talk NFL next with Bo Marchant, Steve Earhart, the executive director of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, with us at 5:30 for the fun run. We will start with him talking college football and the AutoZone Liberty Bowl version number 61 coming up this year. Look at the spellings of that last name at the text line. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. School's back in. Are the kids going to be running out of hot water every morning? Or worse, are you going to be out of hot water by the time they leave? It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot water. At Conway Services, we're making now the perfect time to replace that old energy-guzzling tanked water heater with a new tankless water heater with 24 months to pay, interest-free. Or I'll give you $250 for that old tanked water heater. These energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month. And you know, with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. And no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. See why I say now's the perfect time? Call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier tankless water heater professionals at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater, we'll come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
If you miss the good old days of great Italian food, rejoice, because Chef Judd Grizzani is carrying on the 110-year-old family tradition. A new Ronnie Grizzani's is now open in the Regalia Center at Poplar and Ridgeway, with lunch 11 to 2 Monday through Saturday, plus a Saturday brunch also from 11 to 2. Live music Wednesday and Thursday nights, an oyster bar with fresh oysters and crab, and an extensive Italian and American wine by the glass list. Don't reminisce about the good old days. Relive them at Ronnie Grizzani's in the Regalia Center at Poplar and Ridgeway.
Hey, Mid-South hunters and fishermen, the Duck, Buck, and Bass Sportsman Expo is coming to the Agri Center in Memphis August 9th through the 11th. Now, Friday is happy hour with beer and brats. Saturday and Sunday see special guest T-Bone from the hit TV show Bone Collector. Also see Frank Addington and his amazing archery show on stage all weekend. Watch Frank hit an aspirin as it's thrown in the air while shooting his bow behind his back. Plus, there's door prizes and giveaways all weekend. Win a $250 shopping spree to Final Flight Outfitters or a trail camera that sends text photos from Sniper Hunting Products. There is also a 3-day hunt of a lifetime from Trophy Club Outfitter of Indiana and a family 4-pack to the Talladega Speedway. And be sure to see the Sherp. It's the most ultimate ATV ever created, and they say that it's never been stuck. It's the Duck, Buck, and Bass Sportsman's Expo, August 9th through the 11th at the Agri Center in Memphis. Go to duckbuckandbassexpo.com for all the info. And remember, hunting and fishing, it's who we are.
There are over 5,000 songs on the radio that talk about home. But without realtors, there's a chance there wouldn't be any songs about home, or coming home, or take me home, or sweet home, or who says you can't go home. Luckily, there are over 1.3 million realtors who dedicate their lives to finding you the perfect place to sing home about. So count on members of the National Association of Realtors, one of the most trusted organizations since 1908. That's who we are.
Gun enthusiasts in the Mid-South know all about guns and ammo at 3615 Summer and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven, because they carry the largest selection of both guns and ammo in the area. They are authorized dealers of Colt, Benelli, CZ, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Ruger, Sig Sauer, Vergara, and a lot more. If you or someone you know is looking for something for self-defense, competition, hunting, or just something that goes boom, then get to Guns and Ammo, 3615 Summer in Memphis and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven.
Hi, this is Mark Tobin. I got a question for you.
Is there anywhere you'd rather be than outdoors today? Well, if that's true for you, then be sure to join me and our guests every Saturday at 6 a.m. for the Outdoors Today radio show. We're going to bring you hunters and fishermen. We're going to give you tips and techniques that'll help you get more from the outdoors today. Join our electronic campfire every Saturday at 6 a.m.
Outdoors Today, Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Final hour on this Tuesday afternoon. Dave back with us on Thursday. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7. We talk the National Football League at this time each and every week, 52 weeks a year with Bo Marchant. From college to pro, formerly of the NFL Pro Football Bible. We talk NFL with him. It got started last Thursday night. It gets rolling big this Thursday night. This hour brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales. They specialize in late model cars with low mileage, very high standards at DeSoto Auto Sales. All the cars test-driven, checked out head to toe, and an unlimited inventory. If by chance they don't have it, they have just about every make and model, but by chance they don't, they'll go out and find it for you. No shortcuts taken at DeSoto Auto Sales. You walk in, treated like family by very kind, very courteous employees with a laid-back, down-home environment. No high-pressure sales at DeSoto Auto Sales, but they do care about you having the ultimate car experience, and time is very important. We live in a world today that time matters. They know that it's at DeSoto Auto Sales. You walk in, you pick out the car you want, you test drive it, you get the credit approved, paperwork done, you're gone in about 45 minutes. Check out the referrals at DeSotoAutoSales.com, 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184 for that town and country experience. Come on down to DeSoto County to DeSoto Auto Sales on Goodman Road. NFL got started last Thursday, but the biggest news in the NFL, it had to be this morning with the news reported first by Josina Anderson with ESPN, Bo Marchant, of Ezekiel Elliott. He's prepared to hold out the entire year. Do you buy that? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, too. No, I don't buy it. I think, when you're trying to make a statement, you kind of can't show any, dents in the armor. So I think that's Zeke and his people trying to say, hey, we're going to stand our ground. There's just no benefit. We can look back at Le'Veon Bell. There were certain things that played into Le'Veon Bell's hands. I mean, he was a franchise tag player, already making a big, amount of money. And in the end, Le'Veon lost money. So, I mean, for Ezekiel Elliott to think that he's going to hold out.
And 2 years left on Zeke's deal.
Yeah.
You're going to sit out 2 years?
It's just not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. And he's going to come back. They'll find something done, or maybe they'll promise him a big payday at the end of this season. But, I do think for the Cowboys' benefit, all teams are built different. I do believe, when they took him 4th overall, I questioned it. But,
they made it work.
Yeah, and he's been, as good as advertised. The offense goes through him. And, the thing that you can just grab any running back and, you can find guys, but you can always find players, but just there are special players. And to think that you can just grab Ezekiel Elliott, in any round and that offense is going to be the same, it's just not going to be.
And that offensive line in front of him, it all works together. It makes it cozier for Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's going to get paid because of the market where he is, his place in time. And I think the Cowboys are wise to lock him up and go forward with this younger version. I don't know if it's Aikman and Emmitt Smith, but it's pretty good.
For Dak, and Dak's in a weird spot. I don't think any of us view Dak as one of the elite quarterbacks in the league. And, we know it's kind of, this guy signed a bigger contract and this guy gets the next biggest payday. I think for Dak, and I think it's going to be it's something he's going to have to accept it. I think as the Cowboys as an organization, I do believe that you have to value Ezekiel Elliott more than you would, you would look at Dak. And from that standpoint, give him something reasonable that he can live with. But, if Dak and his people, and I have not heard if they are, but, if they're looking for these eye-popping, wowing, numbers from a contract to be handed down to them, I just don't think that's going to happen. And again, I mean, they haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver since 2014. They're trying to replenish it with, the trade for Amari Cooper last year. That's helped. But again, everything revolves around Ezekiel Elliott. And I just think when you're kind of playing with fire here, you have a team that you feel capable. The defense has really come alive. They're one of the best units in the National Football League. If that offense is right, you can win football games, and you may get to the promised land. I think when you're in that opportunity, you kind of have to say, hey, let's get these ducks in order and get these guys signed. And I say the same thing for the Los Angeles Chargers about Melvin Gordon. We saw the Saints take care of business with Michael Thomas. It's just a trend. These guys are going to start, these rookie contracts. These guys are 2 years out. We're seeing it. These guys are going to want paid, and maybe the next CBA, there's some more language in these contracts where these guys do exceed so many expectations, reach so many kind of, escalations in the clauses that maybe they can re-up on a contract. You can't blame them, and
especially
it goes
football.
Both sides.
I mean, basketball and baseball's got the good deals.
Yeah, they do, and this. These guys have to make it, and they deserve it. And that money's going to be spent for somebody. It's not like they're going to be, the Cowboys or the Chargers or any other. Yeah, they're going to. It's not like this money's not going to go somewhere. You got to be prudent. You just can't be throwing money out left and right. But I just think when it comes to Elliott, I just think it's one of those things. And again, looking at San Diego or Los Angeles, the Chargers are in that same position. They're somewhat of a Super Bowl contender. To think that Austin Keller or Justin Jackson, we can just feed these guys the ball. There's a whole different dynamic goes in that. There's a different mindset of a defense. It's easy for Ezekiel Elliott to run the ball 31 times, and then you bring me or you in. One, they really don't know. I mean, Ezekiel. As many catches as he has, his primary thing is to run the football. If you bring a change of a pace guy in, you don't know if he's going to run the football or if he's going to take a pass out of the backfield, or you just be a decoy. And I think that's why we get lost in that, misconception that, these guys came in, he had 6 carries for, 31 yards. It was 5 yards a carry. Well, that's because the workhorse came in, and exactly what the workhorse does. He does what the workhorse does. He just runs the football. These other guys come in, there's some options. And, I always thought about, I think it was when Jamal Lewis was in Baltimore, and I don't know if it was I know it wasn't Priest Holmes. His name's escaping me, but I remember he would come in on third down, and they would run Jamal on first and second, and then third down you had that option play between what they were going to do with this guy, and he would usually have some bigger runs than Jamal, but at that point, Jamal was just you just knew Jamal was not going to catch the ball. It was just basically handing it off, and he was going to try to do what he does. But
his hands was not his forte, but
no, definitely not.
Running that ball was. You were in Canton for the Hall of Fame festivities. The news broke on Friday. Drew alerted me to it on the air on Friday. Of next year's class is going to be the jumbo class. I don't think I have too big a problem because with all these halls of fame, we're not talking about getting in the pearly gates. Boy, baseball, and I love baseball, but it bugs me when baseball has that class of one or sometimes none. And I like, by virtue of the rosters, you're going to have bigger classes with basketball and, of course, with the NFL. But next year's going to it looks to me like it's going to be the jumbo class and maybe the catch-all class, the fix the things we may have gotten wrong in the past class. Is that what you think, or do you think it will be fresh and it might be newer names that hadn't had the heartache in the past?
I hope, there might be some changes. I've been reading and I talked to some folks up there while I was up there, in terms of how they're going to kind of propose how these enshrinees go in. It's kind of almost being all or not for a lot of these guys. And I know a lot of the writers said, it's possible that there's 15 guys, but you may elect to think that there's 3 of them that aren't worthy to get into the hall, so you would vote no. But there's 12 other guys that you feel very confident about. I don't know if it's a ploy to get Tagliabue in, but I hope it works. And I'm not going to lie to you. And we could probably argue if he's a Hall of Famer or not. But when we spoke about him, I think last week or the week before, the passing of Cliff Branch, and I thought, when you really think about his career, 3-time Super Bowl winner, a Pro Bowler, a guy that was a long range speedster, in a day and age when passing the football wasn't
what what it was in
and
this
I think
modern
the
era.
only Raider to be on all three teams.
Yeah, he was. All 3 Super Bowls, and I'm thinking, he's not there, and it really hit me. And not to make light of it, but Thursday night we're on the sidelines, and they kind of announced some of the Hall of Famers, and Johnny Robinson was walking past. So obviously he's older, he's aged, and I said, "Congratulations, Johnny," and he kind of looked up to me, and he looked at me say it to him, but he actually shook the other guy's hand next to me and said, "Well, thank you." And it hit me, and it's my own ignorance that I don't know how great of a player he was, but then I start to think, how many other guys like him are out there that are just fabulous football players that have to wait so long?
We
And
saw it with
to
Jerry
think that he
Kramer.
had-
And at the voting, and I don't remember Johnny Robinson playing at LSU, but he was a running back there. Hank Stram moves him to defensive back. He leads the AFL 1 year in interceptions, and then after the merger, he leads the NFL in interceptions. But I know what you're talking about when they're older and they're frail like that. So I'm in Minneapolis, and they had Radio Row that year set up in the Mall of America, and I think it was a granddaughter of Jerry Kramer. She had the jersey on and so proud. And I said, "This is the year. Y'all get it this year." Tears came to her eyes. She didn't know me from a box of sand, but tears came to her eyes and said, "I sure hope so. I don't know how much longer he can hang on, and his friends can hang on to enjoy this with him." And if you've ever been to a Super Bowl, if you hadn't had Jerry Kramer on, you hadn't tried at all. I mean, he'll do every show in the country. He's great to visit with. Very matter of fact. I love seeing that little bitty ring from Super Bowls 1 and 2. The rings he wears compared to these door jams now that they get. So, but he finally got in. And Bo, I'm not getting old and nostalgic, because when I was young, I was nostalgic. Open the door. What the heck? Let him in. And the daughter of Ken Stabler over the weekend, she just kind of went on a rant out there on Twitter about why did they do this to Cliff Branch? Now he's not like her dad. He's not going to be able to enjoy it because he's going to go in posthumously. And I think that makes the tears flow even more for the family when the honoree's not there.
I listen. I mean, I've kind of always maybe felt that way. Just it just seems like these new guys, anyone that's retired recently, they're either on TV, and it's just kind of like the stepping stone. And I know you kind of stay relevant. I mean, if you're relevant, you're in our faces every day. It kind of helps us remember the lineage and the memories that you brought to the field. But what I'm, and this is not to take away from these guys, but again, when I realized and I saw everything, the highlights and everything about Johnny Robinson, and then I'm looking at, Ty Law and Champ Bailey and Ed Reed, and I'm thinking, these guys are in their prime of life. I mean, they're in their
really
50s.
good years.
They're not even 50 years old, and this guy's waited so long, and again, I just thought, how many others are out there? I think I know the game well, but I mean, I don't know it where I know every single guy and how legendary some of these people were. So, any of you writers out there, start really paying attention to some of these vintage guys that, could be holding on to the last few years that are definitely deserving. Because I think we also fall trapped to, now that they've passed, well, let's put them in now because we messed up.
Yeah.
So let's get ahead of the game and get the Stablers and all these guys in.
Ken Stabler did not want a pity party.
No, but just and he played in an NFL where it was just you love the game. You watched it your whole life. It was rough, and he was the man.
He was, and throwing it deep to Cliff Branch. It's amazing the number of defensive players in for Kansas City, because when you think of Hank Stram, you think mostly throwing it all over the yard with as he called him when he was wired up for Super Bowl IV with Leonard Dawson. But a lot of defensive players off those teams, Willie Lanier, Buck Buchanan, Bobby Bell. That's just a couple immediately come to mind. Bo, when I do this, I'm almost always yes, and I make all the Hall of Fame purists across all the halls of fame, heck, down to state Hall of Fames. I make them mad at me. because I'm about yes on everybody. I'm not yes on Danny White or Steve Pallure or Jay Schrader, but within some reason, I'm mostly like a guy that lives and spends a lot of time in Memphis. I'm yes on Joe Theismann.
It'd be hard to argue. I mean, he was a Super Bowl winner.
MVP.
You know, I mean, when I think, I don't think Kurt Warner. I mean, when I think of quarterbacks that I think, when you, I just don't. I think it's the story from stock and shelves to. I look at that Rams offense, and who knows what Trent Green would ever done with that.
But
offense.
He didn't.
I mean, it was, but he didn't ever get that shot. But there were some pieces. I think of Mike Martz. I mean, look what Mike Martz did in Chicago without those things.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. I mean, so I just, he was almost out of, he was resurrected in Arizona. He was basically benched for Kerry Collins in New York. I mean, when I think of, when I think of, Elway or Marino or Manning, there was nobody taking Manning's job. There was nobody taking Walter Payton's
the pantheon.
job.
That's the house of gods. That's the literal definition of.
But I guess.
All right, real quickly, give me yes or no on some people. I'm gonna scatter shoot you. You give me yes or no. Steve McNair.
No.
Jamal Lewis.
Yeah, he went over $2,000.
Phil Simms.
Yes.
Who else did I have from that list yesterday? Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson? No, definitely not.
Hines Ward.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to say. Yeah, I'd say yes.
Gary Clark with Washington.
Oh, are you? Did you have somebody break into my computer and read my private notes that I take to myself at night?
I did.
Well, then yes. I guess, and yes, a triple yes.
See, I think Steve, I'm yes on all these, and I'm already mad at myself for calling next year's class, and I'm going to stop doing it, the catch-all class, because I think they're kind of like in The Godfather. They're cleaning up all the family business or getting everything right to clear up that log jam, because we had that log jam at receiver for a long time. Isaac Bruce should not be near a catch-all class. He should be in and of itself, shouldn't he?
Yeah, I think Isaac Bruce is deserving of that.
Torrey Holt.
Again, yep. Willie Oath?
No, Willie Roaf's in. Torrey Holt.
Oh, yeah, if you put Isaac in, you got to put Torrey in. Torrey was, those guys were game changers.
A texter asked this question at 67129 at the First Bank text line. With 20 guys going in next year, Patrick Willis is a lock, correct? Patrick Willis should be a lock next year if they have a one-man class.
You would think so. I could see it being tricky for him.
Really?
And that's
because he retired too soon?
Because he retired too soon. And maybe they'll look at that the other way. I know there's some reluctance because it's, concussions and tackles. Maybe they'll look at that as this guy was a little bit of a pioneer as a protector of himself and more important than the game. But again, this is not Patrick Willis is a beast. I'm not taking.
Oh, man.
And so is McNair. Anyone listening says how I guess I'm a little bit. I guess I'm a snob. I guess when I think of the Hall of Fame, I love all these guys, but I guess there's even a hall above the hall. When I think of Jerry Rice, are you good as Jerry Rice? Well, are you good as Walter? Are you as good as Dan Marino? Are you Tom Brady?
Gold jacket,
that's
Hall of Fame ring. Yeah. I'm in the same one. It's like the last guy or gal in the med school class. They're still a doctor.
Yeah, they're still a doctor, but and I understand there's greatness of greatness, just like boxers. Ali, nobody, there's other champions, but there's special champions. But I all the guys you said, I couldn't argue that they don't deserve to be in. I think Larry Johnson, that would be
I'm too easy. I know that. I'm a yes on almost all of those.
If I'm putting Larry Johnson in, then I'm putting Otis Anderson in. I'm putting Gerald Riggs in.
I think
maybe.
Otis Anderson should be in.
I do. I think Otis deserves to be in, and I think that's again why we get caught up in these. Like Curtis Martin gets in. He just retires and boom, he's in. You know what I mean? Like, all right, but and again, it's these guys, all these back generation of players, they played where the game was more physical.
The defense was more prevalent. The offense had lesser ability to score touchdowns. The numbers weren't as huge. And a lot of these guys prior to the games turning into, back in the day it was 12, it went to 14 to 16. They played in a season where you just couldn't accumulate these, mind-blowing numbers. I mean, think of like a John Jefferson. I mean, he was fantastic. Not Hall of Fame worthy, but he was pretty
Wes Chandler.
special. Yeah, Sterling Sharp. I mean, Sterling Sharp's not in. I mean, you talk about a guy on
Jordy
Sunday
Nelson.
that dominated. Jordy Nelson. I mean, there's so many special talents, and again, I'm kind of contradicting myself, but people do have to get in, and you have to allow these guys. And I've never sat there and been disgusted by any man that's ever took the podium. I mean, I'm in awe of them, and and especially when they kind of present themselves, and you kind of really take a step back and realize how much they meant. And it even means more to me with the older timers when I learn something. I just say hypothetically. I saw Marshall Faulk play. I might not every know stat or any little intricate part of Marshall Faulk's career, but I knew how great he was.
And we know how to read,
live.
and we know how to
Yeah,
appreciate.
we know how to read.
Yeah,
but these guys that you're like, and I don't know if it happens to you, but sometimes you see these lists come out, and I'll just make up a name, like Lenny, Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, wow, who's Lenny Simmons? You're like, oh, he was a offensive lineman for the Lions back in the 50s.
Bulldog Turner. That's my favorite NFL Hall of Fame name. Bulldog Turner.
Yeah. Hey, tell you what, if you ever make it to the Hall, that's the great thing about the old days, and it was in all sports, but Catfish Hunter. You start looking at these names, and everybody had, Toe Frog Willie or something. I mean, just everybody had crazy names. Now it's just, they call you Bo or something. It's just not the same.
Well, Crazy Legs Hirsch, Elroy Hirsch. I mean, that may be one of the best nicknames ever. Bo Marchant, good stuff. There are two truisms to life. The person that graduates last in medical school, they still call he or she doctor, right? And another thing,
right?
Behind every good man stands a shocked mother-in-law. Never forget that. Never forget that, okay?
I will never forget that.
But we'll do it again next week. We got a lot of games to talk about and a lot of camps to talk about. Thank you, man.
I know. I'm excited, man. Have a great week, buddy.
You too. Bo Marchant talking NFL with us. He covers the Pittsburgh Steelers very closely. CollegeToPro.com visits with us every Tuesday afternoon. You think it'll be shocked mother-in-law come next June, July for you?
No.
They're not shocked at all.
No, she loves me. Mother-in-law loves me. I mean,
good deal.
Takes my side over hers on every argument.
Good deal. Steve Earhart to talk the AutoZone Liberty Bowl and college football with us. First 4A with Steve this year. We will visit all college football season with him December 31st, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl for the 61st time. And it will be fun, whatever teams we have in town, like the fun I had today at lunch at Jason's Deli. I had the taco salad, the lighter portion. You can get the original. That's the larger portion, and that's a lot of good food. Lighter portion, plenty of food. All the great salads, like the Mesa chicken salad, the nutty mixed-up salad, the Big Chef salad. It's delicious. The chicken Caesar salad, chicken club salad, all the meats, breads, cheeses, spreads at Jason's Deli at any of these locations. Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Just the salad bar itself, over 30 items to choose from. You make that terrific salad for yourself at lunch, and don't forget them at dinner time. I know a lot of people leaving to go out for dinner right now in the next hour or so. Make Jason's Deli a destination point for you at dinner time. Healthy first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. It's all about choice at Jason's Deli, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the Build Your Own selection, you will be delighted at Jason's Deli. Catering anytime, anywhere. I got a feeling there'll be a lot of Jason's Deli tailgating on August 31st on Tiger Lane for the Tigers and Ole Miss. Free ice cream in all these locations. Won't be free ice cream that day out on Tiger Lane. Not from Jason's Deli, but you can in these locations. Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com. Patrick Willis is in, isn't he?
Oh, 100%. No doubt about it.
What a player. What a guy, too. And I think smart to know when to go out. I can walk away and be fine, and he is. I wish he was around more at Ole Miss maybe this year. He will be. He's been back some, but just terrific to see him. And that year he played with that cast on. Just that good with one arm in college. And with 2, he was really good in the NFL. Played in the Super Bowl, a defeated team for the 49ers against your Ravens at the Super Bowl in New Orleans. When we come back, we talk AutoZone Liberty Bowl and the college football business with our friend Steve Earhart, the executive director of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. That's next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's Employee of the Month, 2 months in a row. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's me, Jamie. I just had a new idea for our song about the Name Your Price tool. So when it's like, tell us what you want to pay, hey, 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 and the trombone goes, blah, 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 and you say, we'll help you find coverage options to fit your budget. Then we just all do finger snaps while a choir goes, savings coming at ya, savings coming at ya. Yes? No? Maybe? Anyway, see your practice tonight. I got new lyrics for the rap break.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Napa know-how. At Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care Centers, get a $25 prepaid Visa card when you get any Napa Automotive battery. It's the best deal for some of the best batteries from some of the best car people around. But we might be a little partial. Anywho, pick up any Napa Automotive battery and save $25. Do it yourself or have it done for you. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care Centers while supplies last. Offer ends 8/31/19.
Hi, folks. Rob Walker, Infiniti of Memphis, and we've got a new Infiniti crossover vehicle that has raised the standard of comparison to a new level. Imagine having both sports car performance and eco-friendly efficiency on demand, working together to empower every driving experience. The result of 20 years of engineering, QX50's award-winning variable compression turbo engine is the world's only engine of its kind. Like 2 engines in one, it delivers a combination of power and efficiency that is truly in a category all its own, and only Infiniti has it. You'll never sacrifice performance for the sake of efficiency again. And QX50 MSRP starts at only $36,550, which is less than its Acura, Audi, and Mercedes competitors. Add to that QX50's award-winning sumptuous interior, and you have the best combination of performance and comfort in the mid-size crossover segment.
MSRP excludes destination charge, tax, title, license, and options. Infiniti of Memphis or online at infinityofmemphis.com. Family Leisure is celebrating the end of summer with the appropriately titled End of Summer Liquidation Sale. You can get pools for as low as $19.99, patio furniture starting at $12.99, and swim spas, they begin at $99.99. Don't forget to ask about fast installation because there's still enough summer left to enjoy these deals during the End of Summer Liquidation Sale happening now at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper. 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase. And 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
The Blue and Gray Show is back. John Stacy and I are here to give you all the info you need to get ready for the upcoming Tiger season. This week, we talk DBU at the U of M. That's right, all DBs, all 2 hours. Keith Spann will be in studio along with some special surprise callers. So tune in this Sunday night from 5 to 7 for the Blue and Gray Show right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Here once again
are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Thank you, Drew. Dave will be back in on Thursday at this time through the conclusion of the 61st AutoZone Liberty Bowl. We will talk college football in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl with Steve Earhart, the executive director of that bowl game. Also want to let Clay Tucker know you're the winner. You got back with him, right?
Yep.
He's the winner on the trivia contest, the last Georgia quarterback to quarterback the Bulldogs to a national championship team. Buck Belue, B-E-L-U-E. It was not a spelling contest, but he did spell it correctly. Buck Belue, old number 8 that year with that pass to Lindsey Scott and that tailback behind him. They were national champs, defeating the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in the Sugar Bowl that year, the only time they ever played before they had the game at South Bend a few years ago. And now this year, the return game in Athens. That will be one of the games we'll be keeping an eye on all year, but a lot to talk about all year with our friend Steve Earhart. Steve, another August. How many August footballs for you, Steve, as we head into practice?
You're right. We're gearing it up. I'm looking at these schedules and thinking that basically, 2 weeks from Thursday, or, we
Saturday.
got that early game, Miami and Florida. And, it's amazing that this is the 150th year celebration of college football. And I saw an article the other day talking about it's going to be the longest year in history from August 24th to January 13th or something like that. So
it'll stretch out a
150th
while.
year be the longest year.
But it'll be fun, and every year at this time, I know you get charged up with it. It's your business, but also it's your love. I have to have this time of year. One of these years, I know I won't have it, and I think I'm well enough adjusted that I'll be just fine. But right now, I got to have it. I love this run up, and I love the run up to the 150th because Steve, you were primary to my 100th year of college football. That was the first year that I can kind of remember some stuff from college football. I went to my first game that year. You were an assistant coach that day for the Colorado Buffaloes.
Holy cow! You're really dating me here, Stats. You're shaming me here, but I guess you're right.
No, you caught that lucky break at 14, Steve. That's what it was.
Well, I'm thinking, it's my 50th college year reunion, and so playing college football back in the late '60s, it was a different game. But when I look back, I think there was still all the creativity and play calling, and there were so many different offenses then. There was the advent of kind of the single wing was then transposing into the shotgun. And remember Dallas with wasn't it coach there with the Dallas Cowboys
Tom
came
Landry.
in with that shotgun. It was such a but it was really the split T, was in there too as well. But the single wing, and we ran a little single wing in college. So really, there'll be a lot of old listeners here that'll remember single wing.
You sure did. And that day, Bobby Anderson. I mean, imagine him now with these rules. He might be quarterback now.
Well, for your listeners, as Stats got that photographic memory, but in 1969. The Colorado Buffaloes, and we came down to Memphis, and there was only a handful of bowl games. So, playing in the at that time it was just the Liberty Bowl, but in '69 there was no cable television, so you didn't know a lot about intersectional football. The intersectional football was really during the bowl games, when you'd get to play somebody from the other side of the country, because you'd play in your conference games and then maybe a couple local matchups, but you didn't have all this cross-country matchup. So we didn't know much about Alabama at the time, and I still remember our coach, who was Eddie Crowder, who was a real mentor to me and a great college quarterback at Oklahoma, and then our head coach and athletic director. But we came down, and Bear Bryant, as I recall, he was out on the field and he had taken the yard marker and he had bent it over his knee. I don't know whether he broke it, but we're all looking at each other and say, how can a coach get away with that? And then the people told us he's the Bear in the South. He can do whatever he wants to do. And that was our introduction to Alabama football and Bear Bryant. And we prevailed that day. And you're right, Bobby Anderson still holds the AutoZone Liberty Bowl record for, I believe it was 210 yards rushing, and he did that from a tailback position. He started the year as our quarterback, and we had a lot of rollouts, and Eddie decided after the third game, I think we were playing Indiana or Penn State in our one intersectional game there, and moved him to tailback, and we had a good season and a pretty good team. We had some players like Cliff Branch, who maybe the old heads remember. Cliff, he passed away yesterday. Cliff Branch, who the number 21 for the Oakland Raiders. He was 21, our speed receiver that year. So it was quite a game here in 1969 in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
And 50 years later, guaranteed to have another good one. Steve, you know my love for the game and my respect for you and what you did for that game. It needed the mantle taken up. It needed the baton carried on, and you and your crew with Harold and many others, y'all have been able to do it. And with the SEC and the Big 12, almost guaranteed to have a fun matchup just with the regional flavor. I mean, it could be anybody in the neighborhood. It could be Arkansas, it could be Ole Miss, it could be State, it could be Tennessee, and then from the Big 12 flavor, it could be somebody new like a Texas Tech. It could be a lot of fun. Had somebody new last year with Oklahoma State, and they just raved about their experience. I think they liked it even better with having more points than Mizzou did. That always makes it more fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you're right, and it's interesting. In fact, since you almost took away our thunder, we put together a AutoZone Liberty Bowl game watch every year. It's a wonderful watch. We take out the dials and put the team's colors with gold fill around the inside of the watch face. So our sample watch this year, we made it's Tennessee versus Texas Tech. So if that comes to pass, we'll see. But Tennessee hasn't been in the game for such a long period of time, and we'd love to have them. And of course, as you said, Ole Miss, and again, I know you'll be on the call again this year, but Ole Miss, it's been since 91,
92.
So that's 92. So that's been a lot of years yet. And since we rehooked up with the SEC, we've had so many teams from the east side of the conference. We've had Vanderbilt, we've had South Carolina, we've had Missouri, we've had Kentucky, we've had Georgia. Now, the only two that we haven't had is Florida and Tennessee. And then on the west side, we've had Arkansas and we've had Mississippi State and we've had Texas A&M. So that leaves just the teams that you called out. To have an Ole Miss or a Tennessee in the game would be wonderful. And of course, Mississippi State, I think, will be in the mix as well, because we're not going to get the very top teams that go to the New Year's Six, or they don't call it the New Year's Six, but the six playoff bowls, what do they call them? Mm-hmm. But though I think that's a rational, reasonable projection that we'd have one of those two teams in the game this year.
Steve, how concerned are you that at the top it feels pretty settled before we've played it down? We always have room for surprises, but the predictable teams in the college football playoff out there, I think there are more stories than that. We're just talking an hour or so ago. I get a little tired that some think the only story from the SEC is Bama, Georgia, Bama. I think there are a lot of stories. Are you worried about it getting a little stale at the top?
Well, Alabama's just been so good for so many years, but they had their down cycle. I remember, about 15 years ago when they went through a couple of coaches and they didn't even qualify for a bowl game. And then we got caught in that trap where Alabama wanted to come here, but we had to take Mississippi State because they'd beaten, we were very happy with Mississippi State, but they had beaten Alabama head to head. So
made it
I
easy
remember
choice.
talking with the commissioner. It was the right choice.
Sure.
So, but, I think that I can't believe that Alabama will be able to continue to go undefeated. Now, there's so many good teams, and it's so hard to keep it going, just like last year when everybody thought Alabama would roll over Clemson, and now Clemson has sort of emerged there as a team, and, I think the LSUs and the A&Ms and the Georgias, and remember, Georgia was down just a few years back, too, and before, he got there, Kirby's first bowl game was in our game at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and they were 6-6 that year, and so everybody was upset they were 6-6, and now everybody thinks Georgia's on a par with Alabama. So I wish that you could say that every year somebody new and different's going to be there, but I don't worry about it.
Steve, I know everybody can't love things like I love them. Look, it's the reason why there's a lot of different colored vehicles out there. There's some white ones, there's some blue ones, there's some red ones. Everybody doesn't drive the same one. So I understand that everybody doesn't love the bowls like I do, but it really does bother me to hear college football people diminish the bowl, because last year I saw too many Oklahoma State fans celebrating like the Dickens. They were so happy that they had won that game. And I saw Drew Lock crestfallen in defeat, and I thought his post-game press conference should be the video, should be the prototype of how you handle yourself after your last college game. Man, he was crushed. He had lost that game. It mattered to him.
Well, yeah, I think the only people that take shots, quite frankly, are people that really don't understand it, and they don't spend enough time with the young people that are involved with a bowl game. And when I say young people, I'm talking about the players, the student athletes, the cheerleaders, the pom-pom shows, the bands. There's more people involved in the bands at each university than there are on the football field. And it's not all about just who is number one or who goes to which bowl. That bowl experience for those thousands of young people is some of the most important times in their lives, when they get a chance to really, explore a different part of the country, to build some relationships. I think it was Mark Richt who said one time to me that when he was playing here with Georgia, he said, to be able to be a role model for these young people when you have 6 days, when you're living together, you're going to practice, you're eating your meals together, it's an opportunity for the entire university to come together and then, quite frankly, show the way for these young guys. When they're during the regular season, it's a lot different. They're living on their own, and they're either off campus or in the dorms, and some of the universities have the sports dorms. But there's so much more to the college experience than meets the eye, and that's why I think I agree with you that the only people taking shots are the ones from a distance that don't have a chance to go down there and see what goes on with the camaraderie of the team and the association with their university.
Truly, some of the happiest, fondest memories I have in my sports life, going to any sport, anywhere, any season, it's been spent at AutoZone Liberty Bowls. I've loved it. Tickets are already for sale. I said earlier today, if you really want to be bold, Arkansas fan or Ole Miss fan or Tennessee fan, you can get your tickets right now, can't you?
Yeah, we're selling tickets right now. We have our membership with our association, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Festival Association, and when you get your ticket early now, you get your prime parking spot, your prime location, and before we allow tickets to go out to everybody else around the country, whether it's ticket buyers that are trying to make a deal by buying up certain locations, or whether it's just waiting for the teams or the universities to be declared in December. So yeah, we'd really like to have the Memphis community step up now, pick out your seat, and be ready when we come. It'll come faster than ever when it gets here through these months when things get heated up with bowls. So yeah, we're available now, and we've got tickets on sale and good seats available, especially for Memphians.
Steve, we're going to keep you out of the prediction business because I know you don't want to get into that thorny subject, but we'll be getting closer and closer to college football with every passing Tuesday, only 18 days away from that Miami against Florida Gators game, and look forward to visiting with you every Tuesday afternoon, Steve. Thank you for all that
Thank
you
you.
and the bowl
And
do.
before I sign off, people ought to know that in your wallet, because I'm still astounded, you've got the ticket for the Alabama-Illinois game, Bear Bryant's last game, and it's amazing that you've kept that with you as your good luck charm all these years.
I'm showing it on the stream right now. Section 23 that night. It was cold, but it was fun. I was very well insulated that night, Steve.
Well, good. Well, no, it's great to be with you. We look to see you again this December 31st, 2:45 p.m. Got a great time and a date. A lot of folks can come to the game from out of town, as well as all the Memphis folks who want to come out and have a great experience.
Thank you, Steve. We'll visit again next Tuesday. Look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve Earhart with the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and it'll be fun. Who will be in that December 31st game? It really, from both sides, a lot to choose from. I loved being around the Oklahoma State fans last year. I've liked being around them and off at NCAA tournaments and in basketball. And they've been here to play the Tigers in basketball. But I think my favorite visiting Big 12 group is that Iowa State group we talked about earlier.
That's just because they're just the friendliest of folks.
Some of the nicest people I've ever been around in my life, and following them off at basketball, I've seen the same thing from them, and they've really got a pair of good young coaches in both football and in college basketball. What's the ceiling for them in football? They can go to a Final Four in basketball, and they've been a long time ago, but they can go to a Final Four. What's the ceiling for Iowa State? Is
this year?
Yeah. No, it just kind of historically. Can they ever go to the Big 12 championship game?
I think they can.
If they can, it's under this coach.
It's under Matt Campbell. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know my Iowa State history. That'd be a question for Gabe Kuhn's brother who does radio up there. But as far as I've been following college football, it's the best chance they've ever had.
You know, a Texas Tech, Arkansas Liberty Bowl, AutoZone Liberty Bowl this year would be good.
I'd take that.
Ole Miss and Texas Tech has a little something going. Tennessee's played them non-conference. Not a lot there, not as much as the other two. Sure, not the history with the Southwest Conference that Arkansas has with Texas Tech. That would be fun.
And one team that we could see, depending on, I think sanctions are all done. Everything should be clear to go. We could see Matt Rhule with Baylor.
Sure could. And you know, if big word, if Ole Miss played Baylor in the 61st AutoZone Liberty Bowl, those two teams kick off opening day 2021 against each other in the game the Texas Bowl puts on down in Houston. I don't know if our buddy at the Texas Bowl would want that, because
it's still a season between it,
might
so
build something
could
there.
Build a little bit. Could build a rival going.
Could build a little contempt there. It was fun playing them down there last year. It wasn't a lot of crowd, though. It was a very, very neutral setting last year in Houston. I'm going to say about 20,000 people there. It was evenly divided, and how they presented the game, I mean, that thing was being played at the neutral of neutral sites. It was just no partiality whatsoever for either side. Great stadium. It's hosted a Super Bowl, but Arkansas and Baylor would be a Southwest Conference thing if Arkansas can get there. I think if Arkansas got to an AutoZone Liberty Bowl, their fans would pack it out, as hungry as they are with what Jeff Long and Brett Bielema sent them through.
Yeah, they would be head over heels. I know for sure every Arkansas fan that I know would take it in a heartbeat.
And a lot of downtown businesses like the Rendezvous, they'd take the Razorbacks in the Liberty Bowl every year, because it's packed when they're in town. And always fun. We come back, we wrap up this fun Tuesday with Taco Bell Crunch Time. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
John Burgess, we're still in the afterglow of a very successful golf tournament.
Brett, I want to convey my sincere thanks to Daryl Smith and his staff at Jack Salmons and the board and CBS for putting on such a great golf tournament. Not only did we see great golf and saw Memphis and St. Jude painted in such a positive way, we got to show Memphis as the great foodie town that it is, from Andrew Michael to barbecue. And I especially want to express my appreciation for the cooperation shown by all the barbecue places at the pit. Even though we're competitors, we certainly work together to produce great barbecue. Especially I want to thank Walker Taylor with Germantown Commissary, Elizabeth Blondis with Central Barbecue, Ernie Meller with Hog Wild, and Pat Donahue and our staff at the Rendezvous. Dining out in Memphis is one of my great pleasures. Of course, we want everyone to come to the Rendezvous, but don't forget all the other great food establishments where all our friends and family work hard every day putting out great products and quality service. Food is one of those understated assets the world needs to know about Memphis.
The Rendezvous since 1948 in the Alley in downtown Memphis.
Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish, but there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
Thinking about building a home? Perhaps a renovation you want done right. Whatever your plans, contact Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. Ken understands it's a big decision. That's why he works closely with his clients, ensuring they get exactly what they want and expect. Quality construction, on time, and on budget. For 2 generations, Ken Garland Home Builders has been building and renovating fine custom homes all across the Mid-South. Nothing is finished until everything is right. Call 901-751-1632. Online at kengarland.com.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, did we hit train? This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You can feel the excitement. You are looking live.
It's crunch time.
Someone call someone because there's a cleanup on aisle 3 as a man is down. In your life have you seen anything like that?
We'll take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
He's a professional. He's pretty classy for his age.
In the crunch time, that's the frustrating part.
Little Penny could make some appearances this year.
Okay, I'm not huge into stats.
Has it always been this way?
It's crunch time, so I got a different mind state.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working?
Immediately when the buzzer sounds, he lets out this shriek.
You throw those ears for him, and he was in stroke mode.
It's obviously crunch time.
It's time for Taco Bell Crunch Time, brought to you every day by Taco Bell, home of the Crunch Wrap, including the Crunch Wrap Supreme, a warm, soft flour tortilla that's filled with seasoned beef and jam-packed with warm nacho cheese sauce, with a crunchy tostada shell with sour cream, lettuce, and tomato. Then it's all wrapped up and grilled. It will fill up your stomach. It will fit in your hand, but it won't take a lot out of your wallet. Perfect on your way home tonight. The Crunch Wrap Supreme. You can only get it Taco Bell. Taco Bell is home of the Crunch Wrap, and each and every afternoon they bring us Taco Bell Crunch Time. Tomorrow, Austin Eldridge will be in with me. Dave will be back on Thursday. We will have TJ Reeves with us. We'll have golf and golf picks with John Gowen. Saboteurs probably. Chris Raby cannot be with us tomorrow because the Cardinals play the Dodgers in an afternoon game during our time. We'll have some baseball conversation, probably an NFL guest, and we'll also do our top 12 NFL coaches. I know Austin wants to circle back to the top college football games of this year, and we'll do that, and we'll look at that again tomorrow. What'd you learn today, Drew?
Learned today that the NCAA has officially added criteria for agents who wish to represent student athletes testing the water for the NBA draft. The criteria is 1, a bachelor's degree, 2, certified with NBA for a minimum of 3 years, and take an in-person exam at the NCAA office in Indianapolis.
Yeah, they've had some safeguards, but they're trying to add more. I wish they would do something this simple. If you don't get drafted, even if you took some cash, return the cash and go back to college. I wish they would do something that simple. I learned Pedro Martinez has really ramped up the baseball talk. No, not the sport, but the actual ball, like the baseball. He didn't go stitching or even the drag coefficient, but he went smaller ball. Pedro, he's kind of weighing in on a lot of things, isn't he?
He is. Yesterday it was swine flu. Now it's the baseball. And the thing is, the way that he found out would be kind of the only way, I think, if it is smaller, that people would be able to find out, because you got to think, he signed a lot of baseballs in that same spot.
Same sweet spot on the ball. Rob Manfred wants all these home runs, though, doesn't he?
Oh, of course he does.
And he's getting them. What is it you could have done without today?
Could have done without. Tim Beckham has been suspended 80 games without pay for testing positive PEDs, and just like everybody else, Beckham doesn't know what's in the things he's taking. He says, I was given this supplement from a trusted source who advised me that it was safe to take, and regrettably, the process was tainted. How about we quit trusting people? You going to put something in your body? You're a professional athlete, that your body is what makes you money? How about you double check and triple check?
Second
and heck,
opinion.
send it into the MLB. They'll tell you if you can or not.
That's it. That's right.
Just do it.
They have a testing process. They would let you know. I could have done without this. I know there's a lot of conversation about them, but imagine what it would have been if they had won the game. But that one loss made a lot of people forget what kind of team Alabama really had last year and what they returned this year. I think they're going to drop a house on a lot of teams this year because of how last year ended. And when you think about the wide receiving core, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Jalen Waddle, and Devontae Smith, that may be the best assemblage of wide receivers ever in a college. Some NFL teams, well, you can't, but for roster size, you can't rival that. With Tua, with that running, that O-line, payback's going to be you-know-what. What do you keep an eye on tonight?
Keeping a close eye on to see if any more history can be made at Camden Yards tonight, as Jonathan Rivera hit for the cycle yesterday, and the Yankees now have more home runs in one season at Camden Yards than any other team in any other visiting ballpark in a season at 51, I believe.
And it is
right
a
now.
bandbox.
It truly is. And I'm kind of shocked it took this long for that record to be broken. Also going to keep a close eye on Cardinals at Dodgers, Braves versus Twins, and any news from NFL camps.
I'm going to keep a close eye on this tonight after being 2-hit last night by Tony Gonsolin. Yeah, the Cardinals face Clayton Kershaw tonight. Good luck with that brutal Michael Wacha performance last night. He should not be in anybody's rotation. It was easy to predict, and I did yesterday, and it was as ugly as I feared. Cubs are officially hot, and they have John Lester tonight on the mound at Wrigley against the Oakland A's. Zach Greinke in his Astros debut tonight against Colorado in Houston. Rematch of the 91 World Series between the Twins and the Braves. It could end that way in 2019. America ready for a Twins-Braves World Series? I'd watch. I don't care how it falls. I don't have to have the Dodgers and the Yankees. I don't have to have the Cardinals in it to be interested. I'm a little more interested, but I'd be fine with Twins-Braves. It was great in 91. And also tonight, think of just when you watch the American League, how tough that AL Manager of the Year vote will be. Aaron Boone should have a constituency. I mentioned Kevin Cash yesterday. And the manager of the Twins, Rocco Baldelli, he should. For Dave, for Drew, I'm Brett. You've been listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Lemon Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC-accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Lemon Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemonbrace.com.
Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
Sundays and Mondays are special at the Butcher Shop, celebrating over 35 years of serving the Mid-South by giving a big thank you to you, their loyal customers. You can come in, relax, watch your favorite games, and enjoy hand-cut steaks along with a premium bar. Sunday and Monday nights from 5 until 8:30, you can get select entrees for $25. That includes a salad, baked potato, and bread, and you don't have to pick one, you get all three. Some of those entrees are 10-ounce New York strip steak, slow-roasted prime rib, Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, marinated grilled chicken breast, grilled boneless pork chops, and crab stuffed shrimp. Plus, all